Good afternoon, good evening, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. We are back for round number 3 here at Sector 1 sim racing in the sunny and lovely Croatia in south of Europe. It's great to be here after a fantastic round 1 and round 2, also European rounds. We will move away from here soon enough, I'm sure, but for now we find ourselves at the beautiful Dragon Trail Seaside circuit with a great view of the harbour, very Monaco-esque here in the Croatian countryside, and a fantastic drive with a serious challenge for our drivers tonight. On the agenda this evening, Division 3 and Division 1, our Group A pairing there at Croatia Dragon Trail Seaside this evening in the Honda NSX, as we know. We'll have a quick look now at our standings from the last couple of rounds here in the Sector 1 Sim Racing Series so far this season. So looking at Division 3, which will be the first car series to head off tonight, this evening. Boybegum leads the way after 2 rounds for CP Motorsports, followed by Levenspiel of Red Mist Racing. 2 guys that have been out the front and really dominant in their category here in the opening part of the season. The Stranger, P3 for Doghouse, and the Doghouse livery tonight also. Keep an eye out for that. It looks absolutely fantastic. Graham Augur in P4 there for Dadson Racing Team. Squirrel in P5 and Daz in P6. VF, after his promotion from Division 4 to Division 3 in the early stages of the season, actually before round 1, he finds himself in P7 there ahead of Black Project for Kraken Esports. Killer on the Loose for Lightning Motorsport, and Revs Law rounds out the top 10. Now, important to note, Revs Law had a really good result in the first round. He had a bit of a torrid time last time out at Red Bull Ring and was slapped with a handful of penalties, if I remember correctly, and he wasn't the only one as well. So really, really jumbled standings at the moment for Division 3 as it sits right now. So you gotta bear that in mind going into this round. So it's definitely not entirely representative of who's where in the pecking order. Beaver in P11 and Carbon Boy in P12 there. Budsy in P13, who is absent tonight, and Pruski in P14 for APR Motorsport. So it's shaping up to be a good round this evening, and don't forget this is the sprint round for the season here at Dragon Trail Seaside. So 2 20-minute races following a qualifying session for our drivers this evening. So it should be very, very exciting, and a bit of a mix-up on strategy as well coming our way. Now, for Division 3, before we go any further, I am joined for the first time in the box by a newcomer to our commentary team, someone who has a bit of experience running lobbies and things like that, and is a pretty good hand at that. And it is Renegade who joins me this evening. How are you doing, good sir?
How are you doing? Doing well up here.
Solid, very good. Love to hear it. Now, talk to me, Renegade. What are we expecting to see from these guys in this race? Who's sort of been in practice one of the top dogs?
Revs you can't count out. I mean, he's the Division 4 champion, and like you said at the start, where he's sitting at the moment is it's hard to see who's where in the pecking order because we're only 2 rounds deep. I mean, it could be anyone's game. Being a sprint race, it's a who's who.
That's right. And this round is a really tough one for these guys because we talk about the Wall of Chumps, the Chicane of Death, the bus stop chicane here at Dragon Trail Seaside is one of the most dangerous sections of track in the game, Gran Turismo 7, on any circuit around the world. It wouldn't be legal in real life, that's how dangerous it is, and it could catch out anyone here. So it's really it's less a game of who's the fastest man on track, but more who's the fastest person who doesn't crash at the Chicane of Death and doesn't find themselves in the Wall of Chumps.
Oh, absolutely. I'm expecting to claim a few victims in these races tonight.
Most definitely. I've heard some of the guys are taking bets on how many total will be in the wall. But anyway, here we have a look at our track map for Dragon Trail Seaside. So you can see there the sections of the track are split up into 3 sectors. You've got the first sector heading towards a chicane at the start of the lap. You see the start-finish line there, indicated by the yellow arrow on track. Very long flat-out section there up to a chicane, and then more flat-out up to the very peak of the circuit, that top right corner. Very sharp hairpin. Then you come downhill through the S's, which is where the downforce becomes the most important part of the car. And you use that through there, drive out all the way down to the hairpin, down the bottom right section of the track. So a lot more time on the throttle down to there, and then out of there you're careful on the throttle because it's a bit of a curved exit. You've got to apply the correct amount of steering input to the throttle application, and then you're heading through the Chicane of Death through to the Wall of Chumps. Very dangerous chicane. The walls come flashing at you super fast through there. I've heard rumors that you can go through there flat if you've got cojones big enough, but by and large we're probably going to see most people lifting off the gas slightly to get through there safely, down towards a final hairpin down the bottom of the circuit, and then back up towards the start-finish line. So, high-power circuit, a lot of slipstream opportunity, and a very wide track as well. A lot of room to put cars 3 wide, even 4 wide in some sections of this track. So, we could make for some very exciting racing tonight. Now, our strategy for this evening is a little bit different to what we're used to seeing here at Sector 1. Usually, it's sort of single compound stuff. But tonight we've got a bit of a switch up for our drivers. So apparently the favoured strategy is a 0-stop strategy for the race. So that's 20 minutes spent on the medium tyres, about 14 laps there or thereabouts. So guys trying to go all the way on those tyres and avoid a pit stop. But because the soft tyres are available, which will be used for quali, it's possible that some people will decide to take the 1-stop strategy and run the soft tyres at a separate time to the medium runners and see if they can make up the same amount of time on the track themselves. So that should be very interesting to see if they go ahead with anything like that. But I think that's all we need to say about these guys going ahead. So what do you say we get qualifying underway? Ready to rock and roll here in Croatia for the round number 3 here, Sector 1 Sim Racing. Qualifying 10 minutes around the Dragon Trail Seaside circuit before we head into 2 20-minute races. Nice and quick for these guys. So, what are you expecting for qualifying, Renegade? Do you think these guys will all be nice and close, or are you expecting to see someone way out in front?
I'm hoping that they give each other a bit of space, especially leading up to several turns. You've got your first chicane, the Martini Rossi sections. You've got turn 6 Motorcraft, turn 12 Momo, and then you've got the Wall of Chumps. So hopefully everyone can get through at least those main turns nice and clean.
Yeah, and the big thing about this track with that Wall of Chumps that we talk about as well is that section of track, the most dangerous part of the circuit, comes right at the end of the lap. So you can nail the entire first 3/4 of the lap and then have it all come undone in that chicane. So the pressure doesn't come off you until the exit of the very last corner here. So
Oh, absolutely.
we'll run through the field here quickly before we get around to our first flying laps. Now I want to draw your attention quickly, if you're in the audience there, to the livery on the Stranger's car here. We're currently watching him hit around now. That is one of the most creative retro liveries I think I've ever seen, and one of the most fitting as well. You know, Doghouse Motorsport being the team represented here, and as he heads into the wall of chumps, and that's what we were talking about.
Claimed its first victim.
It's claimed its first victim, but he's damaged the paintwork a little bit, but it still looks fantastic, and that is, of course, a remake of the Cat livery, or the Caterpillar liveries that were used in the V8 supercars a long, long time ago. And it's been switched for dog, which is, you know, fitting, because obviously cats and dogs very, very close in relation as far as household pets go. So I think that's one of the coolest liveries I've seen in Sector 1 history. So the Stranger currently sitting P11, just getting rid of that damage that he would have picked up at the chicane. First out and first on the flying lap, Boybagum, who leads the way for the championship at the moment for CP Motorsports. Nemesis filling in for Budsy this evening, so just for team points for him. He'll be sneaking a little bit of a slipstream around the track, I think, from Boybagum. Rebs has spun out of turn number 2. Rejoins the track there. Not the best start to a first lap for him, but he's got a bit of time to get around again. It looks like he's not the only one as well. Black Project in a very fitting retro livery as well. I like that one for Kraken Esports, looking fantastic as ever. Killer on the loose heads through for Lightning Motorsport, and he looks like he's backed off a little bit as well to kind of get himself back to where he wants to be in terms of pace. So he'll probably put it all together on the next lap. Gurr or Graham.
A little bit of front damage he was, that's why he's a bit slow there.
There we go. So yeah, a little bit of damage around. So guys in for a wall for the first chicane. Graham for Dadson, or it is Dadson Racing. Yep, in a nice style. I like to see it. Rocking around here, about to go through the wall of chumps for the second time on his first flyout. Very good. Nails Levenspiel through as well. Redmas Racing. We've got a car around again. Another victim has been claimed.
Around.
That was Black Project. Burrow heads through another very nice retro livery. Now this one for Black Rose, really interesting because it's nice and simple, but it's really clean and tidy. So it's a replica of the Honda R272 Formula car that we have now in the game as well. At the white with the Japanese rising sun on the front. Very, very cool. We'll love to see it. Daz 930 down in P10 at the moment. And we've been through the Stranger VF. So only 13 on the grid tonight, so not all 14 making it through today. VF jumps up to P5. So our first representative lap times have been put on the board. We have VF and P5. Consistently P5, this guy. He seems to be, you know, in that area of the pack time and time again. Despite being promoted from Division 4 late on, right before we started the first round of the season. He's really put his name out there, so definitely the right decision to throw him into this particular division. And purple through the first sector as well, so he is not done just yet. Through the S as he goes. Now the downforce becoming a very, very important aspect of the car through here. Nice and flat over the rise, over the crest here, and then head down towards the hairpin. We will jump inside with VF here on the way down to the hairpin. Through the right-hander. Now this is where you've got to be careful. He gets a little bit loose on exit. That might throw away whatever good work he had there. Goes down by a little bit.
For a fresh set of softs.
Yeah, stoppers coming in. About 5 minutes gone, about halfway through the session, so guys have got time to come back out again. Set another flying lap. It looks like VF is still on for a decent lap here. Watch him come around the final corner. On the loose to P3, and in comes VF, so not happy with that lap. Looking to chuck on a fresh set of boots. Go around again. The Stranger sitting P2 right now. EP car fails out of his lap, on and out lap in fact, so not on a flying lap yet. He's just put on a fresh set of boots to give himself the best chance of laying down a nice quick one in the late stages. So I'm hearing word, Paddock, that our Datsun Racing Team livery that we're seeing on track at the moment is a replica of the very first livery designed for Datsun Racing. Way back in season, or would have been season 1? Season 2? No, it would have been season 1, I think. Might have even been before that. I know Datsun, the team itself, went through a couple pairs of hands before it was named Datsun Racing Team. But this would have been the first of the brand, black and gold, which they have kept to this day. You can tell it's a little bit different
before my time. I didn't come in until season 7, so I'm seeing this one for the first time.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Which one is it? The black and the Strangers one? No, not the Strangers.
Gur and P5 we're currently looking at.
There we go.
Yeah, it's gold, but it's textured, which I like. You know, I think it's a really good look. Levinsfield goes to P2. Graham not able to set a faster time, but he will go around again.
It does look good, actually.
Nice, I like it. I like what I'm seeing. A couple of really nice retro liveries on display this evening, which we love to see. Now I have to know.
Coming around to finish a flyer.
But we do still have Revs with us. I was missing him
for P9.
Up to P9. Very good. Now he's running a retro style as well for Kung Fu Racing Team. I'm liking that. It's very Avatar: The Last Airbender waterbending style, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it is myself, to be honest.
It's cool, is what it is. I do like it. It looks
very abstract.
It is abstract. So it's got a big water design on the side. Very elemental aspect to it. So we'll see if we spot any Kung Fu Racing drivers in other divisions running perhaps, you know, a green swirl on the side instead.
It almost looks similar, or something like a wave crashing over. If you look at it from the rear wheel forward.
That's right.
It almost looks like a wave crashing.
Yeah, I like it. Whoever
like the
made
lip
that,
of a wave.
very, very cool. It looks like a lot of time's been put into it as well. Very special. So, coming from the paddock, the Datsun car is based off the Penrite supercar that ran Bathurst last season. So, that would explain the Penrite colouring on the bonnet. I like that. I like it a lot.
Pick where it came from.
Boybegum on a flyer. He's completed his outlap. Heading round to set the next provisional lap time. He's got a 30.286 to his name at the moment. He's nearly 2/10 clear of his nearest competition in the former Levenspiel for Red Mist Racing. Levenspiel currently on a lap as well, a little bit further ahead, so Levenspiel will cross the line and let Boybegum know if he's beaten his time before Boybegum sets his next fastest lap. This should be interesting to watch. The Stranger's not out of touch either. There's about a 10th there separating him from Levenspiel. Remember, the guys are running the soft tyres now, but everything could change when they switch to the mediums for the race, or unless someone operates the soft tyres throughout the race as well.
Up by over
Purple for Levenspiel. He's a 10.5 clear of Boybegum's fastest time through that sector. Nails the Chicane of Death. It looked fantastic through there and heads down to the final corner. Nice and straightforward in comparison here. Hard on the brakes, tuck it in, throw down the power. Late apex, there you go. And he's going to pick up a nice slipstream to the line here as well from the Datsun car. Levenspiel comes to the line. It's not a purple lap. He does not go faster than Boybegum. Boybegum, what can he do? It's not an improvement for him either. It looks like he's been claimed by the chicane as well. The Stranger now. He's coming through the final corner. What can he do on his way to the line here? 25 seconds on the clock there.
Identical time difference.
He's going to get one more lap as well, but he's got to set one now. He's not improving, but he will get one more. The Stranger just makes it around. Pruitt sets his lap time, and that's it. For him, he will go no faster. That's his session done.
Isa Nephilim session done. He's sitting in the wall.
Black Project to the line as well. Last chance to set a time. He does improve. Goes to P10. Demotes Pruitt down to 11th. Beaver gets himself I didn't see where that ended him up. Not quite.
Beaver's on
Beaver's
pole.
on pole. Beaver's gone pole for now. Boybegum, do you have an answer?
0.020.
This is unbelievable. Levenspiel trying to sneak a toe from the Dadson car. He's been following it around the whole lap. Into the final corner. We missed that from Beaver. That was phenomenal. To the line goes Levenspiel. Can he demote Beaver? It doesn't look like he can.
No.
Not quite. Boybegum to the line now. He's on for a lap here too. 29, 30. It's pole for Boybegum at the last second here by 0.027 over Beaver. The Stranger will set a lap time as well. Can he unseat anyone in front of him here too? 25 on the clock. Squirrel goes to P3, demotes Levenspiel to 4th, and no improvement for the Stranger. Wow, Boybegum left it late.
What a quali.
Insane from these guys. They kept us on our toes all the way through.
Phenomenal lap from Boybegum, a 30.2.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy from these guys. Boybegum by 0.027. Absolutely nothing in it. And really put us on the edge of our seats right at the end there.
Oh.
So thank you for that, mate. We'll have a look at our results here for qualifying. Boybegum takes pole position for the sprint round, the first of 2 races, with a 30.239. TG Beaver in P2, who stunned us all with a 0.266 at the death, just in time for Boybegum to set one more lap and reclaim that top spot. Squirrel to P3. And Levenspiel demoted to P4 in the late stages. The Stranger P5. Graham P6. Killer Andalus P7. And VF P8. And to the second half of the grid. Gaz 930. P9 for Deeds. Black Project with... he probably only set one lap without... having an incident at the chicane, so hopefully the race will go better for him. I'd say that, you know, it's not quite representative of what he can do there. Pruitt, P11, and Rebs, P12, ahead of Nemesis in P13. But the gaps, not particularly large up and down the field. A second between 1st and 8th, and you look at the first 4 there as well, about a 10th between them, so this race is not going to be easy for Boybegum. Despite the pole position, despite the work he put in qualifying, he's going to need to have eyes on his rear view mirror here.
There's an identical time difference between Levenspiel and Stranger to Gurr as well, a 0.201. Identical time difference.
I see that. Yeah. No, that's crazy. So yeah, not too far between these guys, so a lot of work to be done. But the race, of course, will provide its own unique challenge for these guys. So,
but 3/4 of a second, only 3/4 of a second between 1st and 7th.
That's what we like. Yeah, we're happy to see it, definitely.
Yeah. But, sorry for saying this, Beaver, but to quote the great Maxwell Smart, sorry, Chief, missed it by that much.
In the words of Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last. But a solid qualifying.
Yeah. Oh, that was an awesome lap from Beaver, or from the top 3, top 4 even, especially. Yeah.
He really kept it in his back pocket to the last second, didn't he? So we'll have a look at our standings as they sit at the moment. So Boybegum, who takes pole positions, already leading the way in the championship. So that goes a little bit further to cementing his spot at the top of the standings. Now our second qualifier, Beaver, currently P11 in the standings, so opportunity now for him to recover a whole lot of points that were perhaps lost in the first couple of rounds with performances here. He's clearly on pace, so should be in position to do quite well. So I think without any further ado, we get involved in the next race. What do you say, Renegade?
Well, let's hit that little green button, shall we?
Very good, very good. So our 13 drivers will take to the grid for round number 3 of the Sector 1 Sim Racing Championship. The first of 2 sprint races for these guys here. 20 minutes on the clock for them to head round the track as many times as they can. Who will be the first to the flag at the very end? All will be revealed shortly. At the grid, here we are. The lights are up and the cars are staged. The revs will rise as the lights all illuminate on the grid here. And they're out and we go racing. It's a solid start from the drivers on the front row. Looks like no change between them, although Beaver getting a bit of a run here with the inside line through the first curve towards the right. And then the inside line for Boybegum into the chicane. Let's have a look here. And they go nearly 3 wide there. Hips and shoulders with each other. And there's an incident in the background as well.
We have 1 car or 2 cars involved, so not enough for a red flag, unfortunately, guys.
A little bit more going on in the midfield here as well. A couple of guys a little bit sideways up the straight. Boybegum has retained the lead. That's what we know for now. Beaver dropped to 5th place through all that. Not the best start for him. Also important to note that there might be changes to tyre selection for these guys. And it's VF who was at the heart of that incident, unfortunately. Fortunately for him, he ended up a little bit behind because of that. So let's have a look at a replay. Down towards the first corner we go. Then, and a little bit of contact from the APR car there, and sideways through the corner. Nothing he could do, and it looked like the APR car trying to redress and get himself back where he needs to be.
All cars made
Ended
it
up
through
getting back in the way.
the wall of chumps on the first lap.
No issues. Good for them. What you want in the early stages. No risk, no mistakes, as Ferrari quite like to say. That's Team Ferrari from Formula 1, of course. Now, we're looking at Squirrel here in the Black Rose car. That beautiful white with the rising sun, the Japanese flag style car. They head through the first sector into the S's.
Revs had an amazing start, up to P6 already.
Now, Reps is a real racer, this guy. His qualifying isn't always the best. But when it comes to the race, he tends to really pull it out of the bag and drop some awesome performances. So, love to see it from the man in 6th. The Div 4 champion, of course, as denoted by the purple race number. Running through. Let's see how he handles the Chicane of Death this time around. Up to the outside curb. Nice lift there.
Nice and clean. Nice and straight.
Makes it through, no contact with the walls. And it looks like for the most part the rest of the field doing much the same. I'm playing it fairly sensible right now. Nobody going too crazy. Remember, half points available for this race. And then the second race is the one where everyone will be getting their elbows out, I'm sure. On to lap 3. Boybegum leads the way. Keep an eye on that timer in the bottom left corner of the screen. 3.5 minutes on the clock now. When that hits 20, the checkered flag will come out. Whatever lap they're on will be their last. Predicted about 14 laps for these guys for this race. 20 minutes of racing. On lap 3 now, so bugging along a little bit. Boybegum is still under pressure here from Squirrel. Sitting in second, pretty comfortable. The Black Rose machine.
Just within slipstream range.
A little bit deep at the hairpin there. Might be on account of that the tow he's getting. The car in front.
Boybegum on a purple lap, up 4/10.
This is dirty air through the chicane.
Oh.
Manages it. A bit slidey from Boybegum there, wasn't it?
It was. He managed to pull that up and wrangle it in.
Didn't lose too much time there too, so he's really flying through that chicane as Boy Become. Not messing around at all. A little bit squiggly on the way out of the final corner. Squirrel gets a run, and he's got the slipstream too, so might get pretty close here, but I'm not expecting a move into turn 1, at the very least. Half a second the gap. Evan Spiel, 2 seconds behind at the moment, so not
3-car battle on the straight for 9th position.
There we go. It looks like the APR car and a sandwich between the Chicane Esports car. And who's that? Up the inside, it's Isa. Nemesis down the inside of Pruitt. Wide hips, as he's commonly known here at Sector 1. Have a look here on board with Pruitt. Now, this is the camera angle that's favoured the most by the Sector 1 commentary team. And there's a huge incident there on the way through.
Several cars have
the hairpin there, and it looks like a redress from the stranger. Taking full accountability immediately for that incident. What I was about to say was Pruitt's rear view camera is very favoured by the camera crew here at Sector 1, because it's not uncommon for him to have a few cars behind him that he holds up beautifully with his wide hips technique. And there's Nemesis a little bit sideways out of there as well. Try that again. The rear view from Pruitt. Doghouse car behind in that beautiful cat dog livery. Pruitt pulling away now. Got VF in his sights still though. Sort of man, Pruitt, that could give Checo Perez or the Mexican Minister of Defense a run for his money in terms of defensive ability. One hard guy to pass, as proven on many occasions. Facing too much pressure right now. Get back in with the front two.
Looks like Beaver and Revs have both gotten by Killer on the loose. Revs up to P5.
Revs is on fire here. So Killer, P6. Beaver's up to P4 now, so he's making a bit of a resurgence as well. Another one of the Kung Fu cars. Now, we've seen the 2 Kung Fu cars. We've got Revs there behind, so the 2 teammates together on track. And the colour scheme on their cars is interesting. So they've got the same livery, but Revs has got the white style and Beaver has the black style. I can't
Revs
tell you.
up by 0.28 purple.
Looking quick. They head through the chicane once again. And now, let us know in the chat, out of the 2 Kung Fu racing cars, which style, the white or the black, is your favourite out of the 2? They're identical liveries in every other way. But let us know which one of those 2 you prefer.
Call me biased, considering he's a former Home Corp teammate as well. Me personally, I actually do prefer the white one.
I'm a fan of the white too. I think it contrasts a bit more nicely because the blue is quite dark, so it doesn't really stand out so much.
It really pops on the white.
It does, yeah. Have a look at our leaders. Once again, Boy Begum's pulled out 1.6 to Squirrel. It's hammer time in the CP Motorsports cockpit.
Revs is around. P6. He's lost it.
Revs has lost it. He's reversed out into the way nearly. He was lucky there that he ghosted for Killer. Killer managed to get through unscathed.
I was
Revs
down in P9 now.
Oh man.
Got a feel for him.
An unfortunate bit of luck. The good news being, of course, that this race is half points and sets the grid for the second race. So he's got a fresh start and a fresh opportunity coming his way very soon. 9 minutes down in this race, 11 to go. Like Pruitt on the defensive again. Things you love to see. Down towards the last corner. Lap number 6 complete. These guys. Look at Squirrels. Close the gap to the leader by a little bit. Perhaps a mistake somewhere from Boybagum. Not able to maintain that 1.6 he had. Levenspiel looks like he's trying to join the party here. And Beaver is not far behind either. All of these guys, about a second and a half between each of them. Each one looking to close the gap. Now all it's going to take here is for Squirrel rather to attack Boybagum one time, and that'll drop them nice and close to Levenspiel, and then Beaver as well, and then it'll be all on for the lead. Retro Red
Squirrel
Whistler
nice
is
and
pretty nice.
clean through there, nice and straight. And up by just over a tenth as well. He's on a flyer.
Got to make it through the chicane, and he does so. A little bit sideways on the exit. But he's really
Hopefully
pushing the
didn't
limits
lose much
now.
time.
Now it's about this point we'll be looking for soft runners who might be pitting in, and the medium tyres are starting to get to a point where got to think about getting off them. You're not getting off them, but you've got to think about a bit of conservation, a bit of being more gentle on them. So
And we have a new fastest lap from Boybagum with a 131.229.
on that well and truly dropped for the CP car, but Squirrel's got an answer for everything right now. So while we're pretty well settled down in the mid stages here, Renegade, do you want to run us through a tyre and fuel update for these guys? Let us know where everyone's at in terms of their consumables.
Well, looking at Boybagum, got a little over half a tank of fuel. As you'd expect, the rear tyres are a little bit more worn, getting close to probably about 30% worn on the rear, maybe about 20 to 25 on the front. Looking at Squirrel, pretty much in the same position, fuel and tyre wise. Levenspill's used just a little bit more fuel, sitting on just on half a tank. Tyres, everyone's so far, all their tyres seem to be on having very similar wear patterns. So it's more about, at this stage, looking at it, who's used how much fuel. Beaver's looking good. He's used the least amount of fuel so far.
So you're saying they've got over 50% fuel left
Yeah.
across the board, is that right? So we're past
Yeah.
halfway, so I'd say that probably means these guys aren't going to have too much trouble with fuel.
It's definitely not going to be a fuel issue this race I'm looking at. It's going to be more a tyre race. Killer on the loose. Tyre wear's good. Looking at Gurr's tyres, his tyres seem to be in the best condition so far. Daz's tyres are in a similar position. Same with Black Project, VF, Revs, Stranger, Nemesis, and Pruitt. Yeah, all the tyres are pretty much all running on par as well. So
And not
really a lot
driver
of
on the
difference.
softs.
No, are all medium runners. So it's definitely a sprint to the flag.
Lights the flag, zero stop. Balls to the wall all the way. These drivers, it's all down to their individual pace here.
Unless one of these back runners want to try a sneaky to get the fastest lap of the race, of course.
Very true, very true. So those soft tyres could now be an extra point for the fastest lap.
Especially,
Oh,
I mean,
that's
for the
something that
back
people
runners
might not
who
have thought
who have nothing to lose at the moment.
Yeah,
Like are in a
exactly. Oh, that's a huge call. Yeah, and we got Robert Rice down the inside at the final corner on VF. VF drops to 10th. Through goes Revs into
P9.
P9. More points for him. So yeah, that what you
VF's
mentioned.
not letting him
there,
go.
He's not. He might answer him back here. That soft tyre to set the fastest lap could be a huge decision for some of these guys. And don't forget that there's no fastest lap per race. It's the fastest lap over a pair of races. There will only be one award for the fastest lap. So if you sacrifice everything in race 1 and set your fastest lap for that extra point, and then you run the second race on a no stop and you don't worry about the fastest lap and nobody beats that fastest lap from race 1, you'll get the point. So yeah,
that could be a big call.
A lot of strategy involved then with the soft tyre, regardless of it not being the strongest strategy in terms of overall race pace. Running the soft for that extra point, almost a sure thing as well. When you put those soft tyres on, you're almost guaranteed to get the fastest lap. Yeah, that's something that I never thought of, and I get the feeling that some other people may not have thought of as well. So, pretty interesting to see if anybody pulls that strategy.
Maybe I should have kept quiet on that one.
Might have benefited you next week, but
well, I'm hoping to be at the front end of the field next week.
Yeah, as you do, of course. Right, look like VF and Black Project at it again. Here we are on board with VF behind Black Project and Revs, who's got himself up to 8th place now. He's on the comeback trail once again. Hoping for no more incidents.
I mean, just for an example, we know Rev's pace. If he decided to, he could pull a Swifty and try and claim that fastest lap. I mean, he's at the back half of the field, so...
That's right. I think the people who should be thinking about it right now, probably not Nemesis, because he's only in it for 10 points. Oh, we got a mistake there from Black Project on the exit of the hairpin. Drops a position to VF. A small mistake can make all the difference. VF promoted to 9th. So yeah, I'd say that Nemesis probably won't benefit from the fastest lap because he'd only have 15 points, so I don't think he actually would earn anything from it. The only thing he'd take would be reducing the points that the opposition can then get.
Exactly.
Pruski at the back, Adam Pruitt, he could definitely have a crack at that fastest lap. He's definitely got nothing to lose there. And I think perhaps
Stranger is another quick one.
We've got an incident at the bus stop there. We've got VF around as someone was slow. I don't know who that was.
Oh, I missed that one as well.
I think it was...
VF was around though, for sure.
I think it was Daz at the chicane. Can you check if Daz has got any damage?
He actually does. Front right and front aero.
Alright, so Daz has hit the chicane, and because he was then slow off the exit, he actually got in the way of VF, and VF took evasive action and lost the car. So that's...
his damage has just cleared up. He had front and rear aero.
Yep. 30 seconds and the damage is gone. Have a look and see.
Rev's now up another position to P7. So definitely on the comeback.
Through the chicane. There we go, and into the left-hand wall, and then straight into the right. There's that front-end damage, and there's VF trying to take evasive action, losing the back end in that mid-engine car. The worn tyres providing a massive problem for him, and round he goes. Unfortunately, made a major issue at the end of his race.
Levenspieler, oh no, not quite. There's battle for second.
On the back of the Black Rose car, and he's got to run here onto the straight. Levenspiel attacking for P2 here as we head down the main straight. Look how much space there is on the circuit. You could fit 4 cars there round the outside of the first corner. He's going to have the inside for the chicane. Levenspiel takes P2. No! Round the outside for Squirrel. Manages to keep it, and Levenspiel ends it up in the wall on the left-hand side of the circuit. That evolved much quicker than we expected it to. And Levenspiel, unfortunately...
And Beaver, the lucky recipient to the bottom step on the podium now.
Opportunistic in every way. Beaver takes advantage of the fighting ahead. We talked about that before. All it takes is a couple of guys battling wheel to wheel, and you draw in someone from behind you. I think Levenspield's going to have a hard time pulling this back from here, but he will start 4th with a fresh slate. for the second
Squirrel in
race here this
deep.
evening. So here is a replay on board as we watch the two cars in front. There we go. Spiel off to the side. Not a lot he could do about it. So Beaver now on the main straight. Squirrel takes the flag. That's it. Only Boy Begum will get one more. He was cutting it fine, but he'll get a 14th lap, and everyone else one less. Killer on the loose in 5th. Graham in 6th. Rebs recovers to P7 after 2 tumultuous incidents. Black Project in 8th. Daz in 9th. The Stranger P10. VF 11th after that late incident. Brewer P12. And Nemesis will be P13. But the winner of race 1 here, and he'll be pole position for race 2, the second sprint. Boy Begum, the only driver to make it to the 14th lap. He was fast enough to make it. He knows it.
Flashing the lights.
Happy about it. This is the one time you do not want to crash at the chicane.
And he does.
No.
There's that commentator's curse.
He knew the cameras were on him. And that was just that little bit of extra pressure.
I would have, me personally, if I was in issues, I would have just coasted through that corner knowing that I'd already had the race win.
That's right. I wonder if he didn't. Perhaps it had the car settled in a different way to what it would normally look like. And here we go. To the line. Celebrates with the team. Boy Begum across the line for P1. He'll be happy with that one, I think. Great result.
Congratulations to those.
Start him off. Won't be long. We'll be heading into race number 2. So, results of race number 1 for Division 3. Boy Begum, top step of the podium and the only man to carry on for a 14th lap. Squirrel, P2. And Beaver rounds out the podium for the first race. Spoils going to top 3 drivers there. Levenspiel P4. He tried it in the late stages. He had a crack at second place, but unfortunately came out worst off and ended up in 4th. But he'll get a fresh start in race number 2 here. Killer on the loose, P5. Graham P6. Rebs in P7. Great recovery from him. Black Project P8. Daz in P9. The Stranger in P10. VF P11. Brewer P12. And Nemesis P13. So, remember the fastest lap, 1:31.229. If that is beaten in race 2, then that particular lap there will not count as the fastest lap, and that will not be awarded a point. So, as Renegade suggested before, anyone throws on the soft tyres and goes for that fastest lap, they could unseat that in the second race. So, definitely something to think about.
Oh, absolutely.
Into race 2 shortly. What do you think, Renegade?
Oh, there was action everywhere there.
Well, as Dragon Trail Seaside brings out some very, very intense racing, doesn't it?
Never fails to disappoint. So now I have to change the settings to practice endurance race.
So we'll go to a quick intermission while we get set up for the next race here for Division 3. We'll be back with more action from these guys very, very shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. We are back for the second of two sprint races for our guys here in Division 3. The first race gone down already. It was a fantastic drive from several of our guys, notably Rebs with a comeback from lower on the grid after an average qualifying and an incident in the early stages. And there were a couple of interesting moments throughout the race. So the grid's been scrambled compared to what it was, and I think we're going to be looking at a very, very different kettle of fish for race number 2 this evening. So we'll set our guys up on our grid in order of the last race. So it is Boybegum on pole position, followed by Beaver, and then it should be trickled down in much the same way for the rest of the drivers. So should provide an interesting bit of racing. Have a look once again at our results from the last race, so that we get an idea of what our grid's going to look like for race number 2. Here we have it. Boybegum pole position ahead of Squirrel, Beaver in P3, Levenspiel P4. At the second row, Killer on the Loose and Gur for row 3, Revs and Black Project for row 4, Daz and the Stranger row 5, VF and Prua row 6, and Nemesis the sole driver on row number 7 due to our absence of a 14th driver. Now Boybegum will be looking to hold on to that first place through the first couple of corners. He had a little bit of trouble with it on the last race, but managed to hold on to it, and it was, I think, Beaver who was attacking, who ended up dropping back a little bit, but recovered to third, which is what he needed to do. See if he can do much the same in this next race. So I think we might be all ready to go here. Renegade, how are we looking, my friend? Got you muted there, I think, Renegade, so I'll get you to
sorry about that.
There we go. No, all good.
Sorry, I didn't realise the arm was muted. Sorry, boys.
Oh, we all do it. I'm sure we've all been there.
Let's get this show on the road.
Righto. Our drivers are ready to rock and roll. It is race number 2 for Division 3. Full points on offer for this one. The last one being half points. And, of course, still a fastest lap up for grabs. Let's see what our guys can do after race number 1. We'll take to the grid in the Honda NSX Group 2. This fantastic machine that's provided such fantastic racing this season so far. Have a look at our cars on the grid here. And it's Boybegum on pole position.
2 lights,
Revs
3
will
lights,
come up.
4 lights, 5 lights.
Lights are up, our drivers are staged and ready. The lights are out, and we go racing here at Dragon Trail Seaside once again for Division 3. Boybegum with a great start there. Squirrel not able to get close enough, and it looks like Beaver with a strong start again. He's up the inside of Squirrel there for the first chicane. It looks like Boybegum's going to make it through there. 3 wide through the first corner, and Beaver takes the lead and then gets hip and shouldered out by Boybegum and then spins around through the resulting traffic. Oh, it goes from bad to worse for Beaver. He's last place now after that incident. It looks like it was a bit of rough and tumble there in the early stages. The upshot of what we've just seen, Boybegum leads the way, Squirrel P2, Killer on the Loose P3, Revs, another fantastic start for him, P4 after all that, and Daz P5. Levenspiel down to P7. In place, Prua P6. Prua's gone miles up. That's amazing for him.
Up
What a
there,
start.
I think he started 12th. Did the same as what Revs did last race.
Have a look on board with Prua as they head through the Chicane of Death for the first time this race. Levenspiel backing off a little bit there. A little bit of a tap of the wall for Prua, but nothing too dangerous. Will Levenspiel go for a move here? Wide hips, not giving him too much room to manoeuvre. Get on the power nicely there. Levenspiel a little bit sideways. That's going to compromise his run there on the way down the main straight. And it looks like a big fight back there between the Kraken Esports car and the Dadson car as well. What's going on? A lot of action. Kraken car stays behind for now. Closes right up onto the Dadson car. You see that in the background there. Now Levenspiel, a race winner here so far in the Sector 1 season. Wide hips already on the defensive through that hairpin. Not
Revs up to
giving
P3.
an inch. Revs up to P3. Gets ahead of Killer on the loose. Wide hips goes a little bit wide of the apex there, and it looks like there's a couple of drivers in his path as well. He's let through Levenspiel, and his run is compromised. The Dadson car of Graham is going to go for a move up the inside. Wide hips pushes as hard as he can, but can't do anything, and into the side of the red mist car for Graham, up to P6 now. Jump on board with Levenspiel. This is getting super intense between these guys. Brewer into the wall. Brewer has been claimed by the wall of chumps. A little bit deep through there because of the dirty air, and now Levenspiel compromised. Black Project goes through. Daz is dropped behind the Dadson car.
Beaver and Nemesis side by side for P11. Beaver goes through.
Beaver recovering now up to P11. Nemesis.
Oh, we have a 3-car battle.
Behind. Brewer's way down.
3 wide.
They're 3 wide as they head towards the first corner. Daz looking on as Levenspiel and Black Project battle it out through the first sequence of corners, and Black Project goes through for Kraken Esports into P6. But can he hold it? The red mist car looking at the inside again. Into the hairpin we go. No one thinking about a move this time. It's intense, and I like it. I like what we're seeing here from these guys. No quarter given. As soon as you put on the serious points for these guys, it goes to another level.
Throw a blanket over them.
And they're so close on track here. There's so many cars in this little battle pack, and we need to look as well. Squirrel's taking the lead here ahead of Boybagum.
Oh, he has too.
The battle for first is raging on while we've been watching the mid-pack, the intense battle going on there. Boybagum, and Squirrel's been claimed by the wall of chumps. He's got damage now, and he's dropped
and
to
Revs
third.
goes through.
Revs into second. Boybagum, with the consistency and the cleanliness through that chicane, has regained the lead once again, and now with a 1.5 second buffer to Revs behind. Now Killer on the loose will probably have a bit of a pace advantage on the straight here over Squirrel because of that damage that he's carrying. Let's see what he can do down the straight here.
And
he's going to be close.
Damage is all clear.
Look at that, 2/10. Does he think about it? No. The Kraken Esports car still all over the back of the red mist car, and they're 2 wide behind as Daz goes through. We've got a yellow flag as well. Someone's off.
Boybagum.
It's Boybagum, and the Deeds car sideways in the background as well. It's all kicking off here. Oh my goodness, we've already missed a replay of an incident earlier in the race, and now we're going to have to look at another and possibly miss other incidents. There is so much going on here. The Deeds car went around. It looked like a redress from the Doghouse car as well. Boybagum gets going in 10th. Now, is this the part where if you're Boybagum, you think about putting the softs on and going hell for leather, making sure you get that lap you want?
I mean, if he did put the soft on, I mean, he has got the pace to reel in some of those cars again, I'm guessing.
You have to work hard for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Your Division 4 champion of yesteryear, Revs Law, or now, as he's known, Bryce Revs.
He'll be thinking all these Christmases have come at once.
He leads the way, showcasing his ability once again here in Sector 1, but Squirrel is not far behind, and I'm sure he could sniff his first victory at Sector 1 as well.
Beaver back up to P6.
Beaver recovering, that's good. After another early incident, he was back to last. There's been a couple of drivers that have dropped to last and recovered. Been good resilience shown by these drivers. So Revs now He'll be feeling the pressure from Squirrel, I'm sure, because he knows just how good this guy is. I think they train together a little bit, do a little bit of practice together. And Squirrel on a purple lap. He is dropping the hammer here. He has given it everything as they head through the S's. The dirty air becomes a problem for Squirrel as they head through here. The gap opens up to half a second. Rev's pulling away. Can Squirrel close the gap into the braking zone here? Down the hill.
Under attack in P8.
But Isa,
he's actually doing quite well. Started from last on the grid.
That's what it is too. If you keep your nose clean in this race, you can pull a good result. He's ahead now of Boybegum still, who obviously won race 1 in dominant fashion, which would be a huge result for the ISA car. I think it might be a case of Boybegum will come by eventually. But to be in this position now, top 10 is on the cards for the ISA car. Here we go. The move might be on for the lead here. 4/10 separates them. Squirrel on Revs. Not close enough it seems. Revs managing to keep the gap just consistent enough. Closes right up under braking. Squirrel is piling on the pressure. Doesn't quite get the exit that Revs does out of there. But Revs knows he's there, that's for sure. Every braking zone, Squirrel is pushing it harder and harder. He's purple again. He's got the fastest lap now, and he's going for an even faster one.
Boybegum now's tacked onto the back of Nemesis, and he's on a purple lap.
Looking racy. Boybegum, we know the pace he's got after seeing race 1. See what he can do against Nemesis. Nemesis promoted, well not promoted rather, but filling in from Division 4, so he stepped up a division for this race and putting on a good showing here for ISA for the team points that are available. A little bit sideways there. He's going to really check up Boybegum into the wall of chumps here. Let's see what happens. Will it put off the race 1 winner? Into the wall for Nemesis. The pressure was too much for him. And Boybegum goes through to 9th place.
Nemesis carrying front damage.
He's pretty safe from Daz behind though. There's a big gap back to the next cars. So I wouldn't be too worried if I was him right now. Beaver in 6th now. Attacking Levenspiel. No, sorry, Black Project. No, it is Levenspiel. It is the red mist car. Up the inside for Beaver. Through turn 1. Claims a position. Levenspiel, no slouches. We know he's definitely one of the top runners in this division. And Beaver making it look easy, going past there, down the inside of the Dadson car of Graham. He wasn't thinking about that before, but he brakes so much later than the black and gold car that he had to go to the inside.
I noticed there was some contact and receded the position straight away, yeah.
Really opened the door to Levenspiel there. That could have been dangerous for Beaver, but he's managed to keep it together. Going to have to get past this Dadson car as quickly as possible.
I've just worked out what that image is on the side of Beaver's and Rev's car. The satellite image of the globe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Or the cloud.
Oh yeah. So it's not water. It's a it's an outer space image of Earth. That's fantastic. Very interesting concept for sure.
It sort of explains the Earth dreams on the underside of the rear wing.
Yeah, of course. Must be a sponsor thing. That's really cool. I like that. I like what they're doing there. See what Beaver can do down to turn 1. Looks like he's not going to be close enough here. Levenspiel still on his rear wing as well. Squirrel's got the better of Revs at some point here. We missed that.
Revs got Squirrel got a little bit loose then. Which is brought
Revs respond. Might have a hard time.
What a drive from Rev so far.
He's in a great spot right now, but it's not over yet. He's still got Killer on the loose to defend from behind, and there is a fast charging Beaver in 5th place. Got an eye full of Dadson. Wants that spot. at 4th place. He's had rotten luck so far tonight, has Beaver. Definitely going to want to pull something out of this race for those big points.
Boy begun with a 31.5 fastest lap.
Taking his claim for the fastest lap. So he's currently 9th.
Oh, Rev's a bit sideways coming out of the chicane. Manages to clean it up.
Still following Beaver, who's on the back of Graham still. Not going for a move yet, but it looks like he's very close here. There we go, the gap's coming down. They come onto the main straight, and Killer on the Loose is falling back towards these guys. This could get very intense very quickly. Will Beaver think about it? A move into the first corner, not quite. Holds back for now. Goes for the exit out of the second corner. With the right-handed kink into a heavy braking zone here. Does he think about it? No. Playing it safe. Can't wait too long though. There's a mistake from Graham. You've got to pounce now. You cannot wait for a better opportunity. Down the inside into the S's. Surely for Beaver. No. He bails out. Doesn't want to force the issue just yet. And that's going to open the door for Levenspiel, who's close behind.
These boys are getting close to Killer on the Loose too.
Killer is coming back into the fray. That Dadson car is chasing him down. Doing a good job there. And P4. And it's Beaver into the wall of chumps. It claims another victim. That opens the door for Levenspiel. Beaver drops like a stone down the order.
Front and rear damage, unfortunately.
Outside the top
Beaver.
10 now. Or 9th, sorry. The Stranger get close.
Unfortunately for the Ice and Nemesis, he's now dropped out of the top 10.
Still on for more points than last though, so that's, you know, that's something for sure.
Exactly.
Looks like Daz has been claimed by the chicane as well. He drops behind Pruitt.
Carrying a bit of front damage.
Yep. So Nemesis might have P11 locked in. He's got a 10-second buffer to the guys behind. So right now it might be a good time for him to put the car in, you know, map 6, dial it back, not work the car too hard, and just get safely through the chicane lap after lap until the end of the race. Because if he can hold on to this position, that'd be huge points for the team. As a fill-in driver, exactly what you want. You know, he can afford to drop about 2 seconds a lap now, so definitely want to be dialing it back and playing it safe.
Got a 10-second gap over Pruitt.
Right, the battle is heating up between the Dadson car of Gurr and behind him, Levenspiel. Hat spun.
Oh.
And the Kraken Esports car goes through. Levenspiel getting out of the way nicely. It was good movement from him.
Got
the second Dadson car will go through, as well as Boybegum for CP. Boybegum up to 7th, recovering from that earlier incident. Graham's dropped off Killer a little bit.
as well, isn't he? He was at the back of the grid at the start too, wasn't he? VF?
VF, yeah. So he qualified 8th in the qualifying session, and then I think he dropped down after an... No, he was the car that was spun at turn 1 in race 1. So he's recovered very well here to be in P6. He's now got a rear wing for Boybegum sideways out of that second corner. That's opened up a bit of a gap to VF, a bit of breathing room. If VF can hold on to P6 here, that'll be a huge result for him. I think that'd be fantastic. The one I want to watch though is Gurr on Killer on the Loose. The gap's opened up to about a second. It was down to 2/10 at the chicane last time through, so I think Gurr has made a mistake somewhere to drop him off.
Yeah.
But he's still in touch, and I think based on what we've seen from him so far this race, he's got the pace to catch up to Killer on the Loose and hopefully mount a challenge. Through the chicane once again. Gap opening up now, so maybe Graham dialing it back, happy with 4th, happy to play it safe where he is now, because again, he's got a buffer to P5 as well, so he can afford to dial it back a little bit. Gap out the front, 1.7. Squirrel is laying claim to this race. Black Rose, he wants the win. He's going after it. Revs in 2nd. He was briefly in 1st, but wasn't able to match the pace of Squirrel and ended up dropping down. Killer on the Loose in 3rd, and it looks like he's pulling away from Graham, so definitely in a really good spot right now. Might take out that 3rd spot on the podium. Graham in 4th. Trying to chase the lightning
2 minutes
car.
to go.
Not far to go, no. So it'll probably be 13 laps for these guys, I think, because it's not the faultless drive out the front that we saw from Boybegum in race 1. I expect we're going to see one less lap for these guys. VF ahead of Boybegum, still managing to hold on to P6. Let's jump on board with the race 1 winner. Levenspiel behind as well. That's pressure for Boybegum. He's got to think about that.
Who is on a flyer at the moment?
Bit of a wall tap from Boybegum and Levenspiel. No. Oh no.
VF.
VF in the wall. It goes from bad to worse for the Dadson driver. He was doing so well. A great recovery. He's still 10th, but he'll be so disappointed to see it out like that. We head on to the 13th lap. Squirrel leads the way by 2 seconds. Revs in 2nd. Killer on the Loose, 5 seconds down. He's got a rear view mirror full of Gurr. The Dadson car, nice and close. Pushing the Lightning car on this.
Levenspiel sitting on the rear wing of Boybegum in P6, P7.
Boybegum's not going to have it easy here. It's going to be a fight to the line for a lot of these guys. The wall of chumps on this lap is going to be so much pressure. 30 seconds to go on the clock. This will be the final lap. This is the last chance for these guys to pick up a position for those points. The leaders are through the chicane. Squirrel, 2 seconds clear of Revs. Into the final corner he comes. He's played a brilliant race. The Black Rose car will take the checkered flag in 1st place for the first time this season. An astounding race from Squirrel. Revs in P2. Killer on the Loose has managed to hold on for a podium ahead of Graham for Dadson, who finishes 4th. Black Project with a quiet 5th. A great result. Boybegum P6. Levenspiel 7th. Beaver in 8th. The Stranger will be 9th with the best dressed car. VF, a dejected 10th rather.
He was doing so well.
He was. He could have held on to that P6. He was on for it. Take P10. Nemesis with P11. A great result for him as a fill-in. Brewer 12th and Daz 13th. The victim of the wall of chumps. What a race it was.
Well done to Squirrel, Racing, as well as Revs and Killer on the Loose for rounding out the podium. Congratulations, guys, all round.
And that was yet another mix-up to the standings, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we came into this race thinking, oh yeah, Boybegum's leading the championship. He's qualified on pole. Probably going to win both races. He won one, but, you know, one big incident dropped him way down in the second race. And there he is, P6, with the fastest lap, though. So he definitely claims the fastest lap point. So that's a good result for him to have.
They would have claimed that from the first race with the 131.2 that he got.
No one picking the alternative strategy to bolt on the softs. Squirrel with the win in race 2, the big win. Revs P2, Killer on the Loose with a podium as well. A fantastic result for those three. Revs will be stoked, I think, with P2 there coming into this one, especially after his run at Red Bull Ring. It was not his best result in the Sector 1 Championship, that's for sure, but he's bounced back with a vengeance here. P2,
even after his race 1 result from tonight, like he'd be over the moon with that second place result there.
I think it's definitely a great result for him. Graham in P4 as well. I think that's a really good result for him. He had so much pressure on him throughout the race, and he managed to hold it together. And everyone behind him, they were trying so hard to mount a challenge, they ended up pinning themselves off the track, and he held on to it. So 4 seconds in the end was his gap to the next car behind. Black Project, another tidy race from him. Managed to unseat several drivers who made errors at the chicane and were the victims of other incidents as well. Boy Begum, recovery to 6th. Not bad in the grand scheme of things, and picked up an extra point for the fastest lap as well. Levenspiel and TG Beaver. Now those three, Boy Begum, Levenspiel and Beaver, we kind of expected them to be up the front, but they were all victims of incidents that put them on the back foot. And that's why they ended up so far down. So, you know, I think all three of them will be disappointed with the result overall. But as far as their fightbacks go, I think they've done themselves very proud.
Absolutely.
The Stranger in P9, VF in P10, another one who was performing really well. And then the Wall of Chumps claimed him with but 2 laps to go. And unfortunately, back foot there. Nemesis, P11, Prua, P12, and Daz, P13. Nemesis, a big one as well. Stepping up from Div 4 for the team and managing to finish ahead of 2 Division 3 stalwarts in the form of Prua and Daz. You know, definitely nothing to sneeze at. So, a great drive from Nemesis as well. So, the next conversation we have to have,
and his team.
driver of the day. Who do you think, Renegade? Who performed the best over tonight's races for Division 3?
It's for me personally, it's a toss-up. Like, I mean, both Revs and Boy Begum, even Beaver, like, I mean, they all had, like, great races and great comebacks. So, between those three especially, I mean, I couldn't pick an outright driver of the day, so I'd give it to all three of them. Yeah, I'd give it to all three.
I'm seeing a few nominations for Killer on the Loose in the chat. I think that's definitely a good shout. A podium there, his first podium for Lightning Motorsport. A great result for him. He'll be stoked with that one, I think. I want to throw a shout out.
Podium, was it?
Yeah, it was. I want to throw a shout out to
mate.
Black Project RX7 as well. P5 there. We didn't pay too much attention to him during the race. In fact, I think in the first race, he actually got spun around. So he's another one who's recovered really well. And he just drove a clean, quiet race and put in his laps and ended up in P5 ahead of the guys who, you know, pushed too hard, perhaps, and put it into the wall. So I think he's done a really, really good job there to be in P5. So Black Project's going to be my driver of the day. And it sounds like Killer on the Loose getting a lot of votes in the chat as well. So definitely a solid result from him too. But that is it for our drivers in Division 3 for the evening. They can go grab a beer and retire to the pit lane with their teams now. I'm sure there will be revels amongst the Black Rose teams, the Kung Fu team, and the Lightning Motorsport team tonight for the performances of their drivers and amongst others as well. I think, you know, Boy Begum can definitely hold his head high. He was pole. He was winning race 1 and the fastest lap, and P6 in race 2 after being dropped back so far due to an incident. So, you know, a fantastic drive from him. But that is us for this evening for Division 3. We will move into Division 1 very shortly. But before that, go to a quick interim so that we can get ourselves ready for that action. Don't go anywhere. You're about to see the big boys go hammer and tong for the win here in 2 sprint races back-to-back at Dragon Trail Seaside. Looking forward to it.
And with that, have a good night.
Good afternoon, good evening, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. We are back. It is time for Division 1 here at Dragon Trail Seaside in sunny Croatia on this beautiful Sunday evening. I hope you've got your snacks ready. I hope you are kicking back and ready to enjoy some fantastic action from our top flight of drivers here at Sector 1 Sim Racing. It's going to be an awesome night of action. You do not want to miss it. Before we get going, remember, if you are enjoying the stream, if you like our content, please drop a like on the stream just down below on the YouTube screen there. Make sure you let us know that you like what you're seeing, and it'll help us out with the algorithm and put us out to more people who want to enjoy the same sort of content that you're watching right now. If you're new to the channel as well, subscribe if you want to see more of what we do, and chuck that bell icon on notifications on so that you get notified every time we go live. We're live every Sunday and every other Thursday as well for the community series. And if you want to join in on the action yourself, join the Discord in the description below and you can get involved in the community series. So we're about to move into Division 1. I am joined for Division 1 this evening by Blackfriday. Say hello, good man.
Hello, how are we? I'm coming to you live from the Wall of Chumps. I thought I'd come down here and have a look for myself. There's a lot of paint on the wall tonight.
Yeah, Div 3's been through a few times there. There was a bit of action. Any debris down there?
Oh, there's quite a bit. There's a bit of carbon fibre scattered off to the side. It is off the racing line, so I don't see a threat to anyone's tyres or anything. But yeah, it looks a different colour than last week when everyone was here for practice, so...
Really been putting our mark on the circuit, so to speak. So I think our guys are just ready to go. So how about we kick qualifying in the guts here at Croatia?
Yeah, I've just pressed the big red button and we'll be starting in a few seconds.
No worries. Before we look at that, just have a quick look at our standings as they sit right now. G-Sh out front, ahead of Young Wakey, who's putting in a really good title bid this season. Noodles in P3, who is absent tonight and replaced by Snake Eyes for team points only. And Lenosis P4, the promo from Division 2, our Division 2 champion last season. Ahead of Speedy Snoopy, who has just been promoted from Division 2 as well. And who inherits half points based on our old system that we used to promotion between divisions. So Speedy Snoopy making his debut in Division 1 tonight. Should be interesting to see how he fares against our seasoned drivers of the series. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. So, we'll move over to our qualifying session, which is just getting underway now. And here we are. Drivers on track. 10 minutes of qualifying for these guys. Looks like we might have a bit of a glitch with the liveries here. See if we can fix that as soon as possible. Looks like we've had someone leave the room and rejoin as well, so I think we might have to red flag the session here. Something is not going quite right with the session, I don't think, but it might give us time to sort ourselves out anyway, because it looks like GT7 is doing GT7 things and giving us a couple, in fact, of liveries there that aren't quite correct. So we'll get that sorted for you and we'll come back as soon as it is ready to rock. But I think Black Friday, you may have to close the room and reopen it in order to get things back underway, which might benefit in a few ways in any case. So we'll get that sorted and we'll head back to our standings as they sit right now and continue through there. So Diswood P6 at the moment for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing. So he's had a couple of mid-pack results early doors. A seasoned vet in the Group 2 machinery, and one of the guys that favours the wet conditions. So he's had a couple of things go his way so far this season, but not quite able to crack the top 5. And he'll be looking to rectify that this evening. Morgan Davey, P7 for Deeds, ahead of Turtle Power for Dadson Racing Team, who was previously known as, I've got to remember now, GK Turtle or Hellraiser was the previous username of that particular driver. Faf P9 for ISA, Mountain Goat P10 after missing round 2, John 27 TCT P11 at the moment, Ricky Bobby in P12, Prima GDR in P13 at the moment, after missing round 2, and he is also absent this evening and will be replaced by Blind Man ahead of Captain Muffin in P14. So that's our grid at the moment. Now, I'm trying to find the man who has withdrawn. I think so. Speedy Snoopy's actually been thrown in there, and we have removed from the list Kaizen, who has retired from the season and will not be returning to continue with Division 1 this season in Sector 1. So that's why Speedy Snoopy's made the promotion from Division 2, and his points have been adjusted to suit Division 1.
I think personally Division 1 is where Speedy Snoopy belonged. He whipped all of our little backsides the first couple of rounds in Division 2 by a good 30 seconds odd in each round. So yeah, I'm interested to see how he will go in Division 1 tonight.
There seemed to be a bit of agreement around that, so good to see him get the promotion up to Division 1 where it would seem he belongs. Definitely excited to see how that goes for him. So give it a minute for our drivers to join the session. It sounds like Lenosis is having some trouble with his system at the moment, which is, classic Gran Turismo, classic PlayStation, but it's one of the things that we deal with as part of this system. So expecting... Oh no, here we go. So we do have Lenosis rejoining, so we should be all good. And as soon as all of our drivers are in the lobby, we will get back underway with qualifying. So guys, still returning. Here's a look at our track map for this evening to remind you about Dragon Trail Seaside. So a very fast-paced circuit, high-speed sections, couple of hairpins for you as well. The top point of the circuit, the bottom right and the bottom left, all very heavy braking zones, great opportunities for overtaking. And the chicane, the first sequence of corners as well, excellent for overtaking there as well. The S's provide the more challenging aspect of the circuit, trying to nail the line through there with the sort of minimal downforce that these Group 2 older cars have. Definitely something that you wanna get on top of, and then down to the hairpin, and the wall of chumps being the talking point on everyone's lips for this this particular round. Down there, the bottom part of the circuit, very, very dangerous. Saw a couple of victims go to the Shadow Realm through there in the last race. Hopefully not too many of the same time around. So we're just waiting on one driver to return in the form of Lenosis, who is having some issues. Might be carrying out a reset at the moment. So you've seen practice Black Friday. Who do you think is sort of the favourite to go pole, do well in this particular ring?
Oh, well, it's Division 1. They're all here for a reason, aren't they? But at the end of the day, look, I think Jeesh, he's a very high chance every round of being in that top spot. You've also got the likes of Mountain Goat there. Woody's been pretty quick at the moment, so and then you've got Speedy Snoopy as well. I think he should be in the top 5 with qualifying.
So someone who's still flying under the radar, it seems, despite some fantastic results in recent times, is Young Wakey, or Wacky 006 as he's known online. For Kraken Esports, the youngster and son of Old Wakey, who's been a mainstay of the Sector 1 series for a long, long time. He's coming off the back of a win at Red Bull Ring over Jeesh last round. So he's got a win to his name this season, and he was victorious in the final round of Division 1 last season as well, driving the Supra at Monza. So he's in pretty good form, and I think he's definitely one of those guys that should not be underestimated, but it seems still that people aren't really putting enough respect on his name. So definitely someone that we want to watch out for tonight in the marvellous red and white livery of Kraken Esports. Young Wakey, another one that will probably throw his hat in the ring for the win here tonight. And what I've noticed about Young Wakey is that his pace doesn't quite rival the likes of Jeesh or GDR, but he's remarkably consistent and mistake-free in his races. He won at Red Bull Ring because Jeesh spun out at the exit of turn 1. And Young Wakey ran a faultless race, start to finish, no mistakes, and that was what got him the win. Very similar last season at Monza as well. this circuit, with its emphasis on not making mistakes at the wall of chumps, seems like the most suitable circuit for young Wakey to perform well at. So I expect big things from him. Not to pile too much pressure on him, but you know, I'm starting to see what all the hype about Wakegate is all about. So definitely a few names, like you say, that could definitely throw their hat in the mix, and Speedy Snoopy, a big one. That is definitely going to be one that I want to watch out for and get to grips with sort of his ability on track, because it's not something that we're super familiar with here in Division 1. A reminder of our strategy for the race tonight. We are moving into qualifying first, but the strategy once we get into the race, we saw the zero stop favoured by the drivers in Division 3. Will that be the same for Division 1? I guess we will see. But we also noticed, of course, that there is an emphasis on the fastest lap points, and if you have a chance, you can put the soft tyres on and go for that fastest lap. So that might come into play in this event this evening. But we'll see. The mediums, of course, mandatory tyre, which is why that no stop is so favoured. See if our guys all run that strategy for this particular race. So let's see if we've got any word from Lenosis as far as whether he is coming back in.
Yes, he is doing a reset at the moment, so
Right,
he should
very
be
good.
back in a moment.
Awesome. That's the one man we're waiting for, and then we can get qualifying underway. A reminder of our standings as they sit at the moment. Lenosis, who we are waiting for, P4 there for APR Motorsport, a team he's been with, I think, since his debut here at Sector 1, so a very loyal driver there at APR. Noodles P3 absent tonight and replaced by Snake Eyes for team points, so he will drop points this round. So the title fight for this season seems to be between Jeesh and Young Wakey, and not a lot in it as well. So very, very close on points, and this particular race could definitely turn things around for these guys. Speedy Snoopy will be looking to impress on debut. This Wood there as well in P6. He's got something to prove here this season in what might be his last season at Sector 1. So definitely going to want to be pushing hard. And I'm hearing good things about John 27 TCT as well in terms of performance around a track like this. So we'll see how he does. And Mountain Goat as well, who missed last round. He, of course, one of the big runners in the first race of the season at Majore. Noodles, Jeesh, and Mountain Goat were the strongest drivers on track around that particular track. So definitely someone we got to watch out for as well, making his return this round after being absent for the last round. The other big name that we've got to talk about a little bit here is Prima GDR down in 13th. So he would have been on for the title fight this season, being a 3-time champion here at Sector 1. But unfortunately for him, he's had to miss a couple of rounds now for various reasons. So he's not been able to score the points that he needed. He's replaced this evening by Blind Man GT, who had a fantastic result at Red Bull Ring last time out as well for the team. I think he was 4th in the end. So giving the best he can when the opportunity arises, it seems. We love to see. See if he can replicate that this time around. A couple of guys in the mid-pack, Morgan Davey, Turtle Power, and Faf. Those guys will be looking to jump out of that pack in the middle and get themselves into some clean air front sort of area. Yep, some support in the chat for Snake Eyes as well. Making the jump from Division 4 to Division 1 tonight in replacement of Noodles. So the team points only, of course. So anything better than last, of course, is always going to be a big bonus for that. And it's an opportunity for him to really mix it in with the top flight of Sector 1 here. Would be very, very interesting. It looks like Lenosis is having issues, so I think it's probably not going to happen for him this evening. Have a look here at what's going on. What we might do is go to a quick intermission and send some messages out and make sure everything's a-okay. And then we will come back to you guys as soon as we are all sorted. So we'll cut the intermission short should it be necessary. So we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, Sector 1 Sim Racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. We are back and just about ready to kick off qualifying for Division 1 Group A here at Dragon Trail Seaside in Croatia. Now, guys, just about ready. We have come up with a solution for our drivers. Hopefully, we can get qualifying underway nicely and quickly. Get the action underway for you very, very shortly. A reminder of our driver standings as they sit at the moment. Here is your Division 1 standings. G-Slow leads the way out the front for Respawn Esports. Young Wakey in second, and Noodles P3, who's absent tonight. Lenosis, who has managed to join, in fourth, and then Speedy Snoopy AU on debut will be P5 to start off with. So, here we go. Looks like we've had another issue. So, we'll go to a quick intermission while we solve this, and hopefully we will be back on it very, very shortly. We're going to have to red flag this one, unfortunately. Alright team, straight into qualifying here with our Division 1 drivers. No more messing about. Qualifying is underway. Unfortunately, we have lost Lenosis due to technical failures. So he will not be able to compete tonight, which is a huge loss for him. That's going to be a massive drop in points. But these things happen. It is what it is. We tried our best to get him in. But unfortunately, the internet not playing ball, Gran Turismo not playing ball. We move on. Faff leads the way for Division 1 out front at the moment for ISA Esports. Mountain Goat on return for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing. His second race of the season after missing round number 2 at Red Bull Ring. Young Wakey, a young driver with so much talent, the youngest driver on the roster. See what he can do as he drives straight into the wall of chumps first time out. Deesh also getting a bit sideways on the way through in the respawn colours. John for Lightning Motorsport coming up to second to start the first flying lap. The one who favours the Group 2 machines. Turtle Power, or Hellraiser as he was previously known, driving for, I think, Dadson. Yeah, that's right, Dadson. And 2 Dadson cars in Division 3. Here we have another in Division 1. Blind Man P4 filling in for TX3, oh sorry, not TX3, Prima GDR. Change teams once again. Haven't seen since round 1. Wait with bated breath for his return. Captain Muffin in P5 for CP Motorsports. Geesh P6 for Respawn. Already seen him on the outlap. Vicky Bobby for APR. The sole APR driver still in the running after Lenosis was unfortunately black flagged. This would P8 for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing. Beautiful looking car today. Neon colours. Speedy Snoopy AU on debut here for Division 1 after being promoted from Division 2 for Red Mist Racing. One will be happy to have another driver in the top flight once again. It's been some time. Mountain Goat P10 for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing. Snake Eyes on fill-in for Noodles, operating the West style livery for Respawn. Morgan Davey P12 for Deeds in a beautiful chrome and purple livery. Young Wakey P13, Kraken Esports. G sets the benchmark at a 129.5. We go on board with Young Wakey. Diswood with a 30 flat. It's P3. Mountain Goat P2 at the moment. Ricky Bobby with a non-representative lap time. Same for Captain Muffin. Young Wakey to P2. 0.3 the difference. So immediately our pecking order is very much where we expected it to be. Geesh out the front, provisionally fastest lap in the early stages of qualifying with a 29.5. Young Wakey P2, similar to what we saw at Red Bull Ring. Mountain Goat mixing the grid order up a little bit, adding a little bit of chaos to the fray. Brocchio 5 Sim Racing. This would his teammate P4 at the moment. Very close relationship between these two drivers. A lot of teamwork to be had. Down on his lap time at the moment though. Baff will come around to set his lap time once again. Across the line. Looking to improve. 29.30. He will go up to 9th. 30.8. The start, it's a banker. Probably pit in for some fresh tyres this time around. John bumps himself up to P5. Geesh improves again to extend the gap by about half a tenth more. Speedy Snoopy P5, about where he was predicted to be based on his half points awarded for Division 2 races so far this season. Mountain Goat in for a fresh set of boots. This would currently P4 provisionally. Young Wakey does not improve this time around. He'll probably come in for fresh boots this time, especially if he gets held up by the Brocky car. Deed's car, I think that is actually, Morgan Davey. Currently sitting outside the top 10, the top 8 rather. Purple and Chrome, down on his best time. Not someone who likes to pit in for fresh rubber during a quali session, so we'll probably see him run all the way to the end. So in fairness to Morgan Davey, qualifying in one of his weakest attributes in his Sector 1 career. Sort of guy that fights through the field in the opening laps of a race. Race pace near unrivaled. Getting out of the way as well of young Wakey. Very aware of his track position. Sideways through the bus stop there and into the wall on the right hand side. That'll cop him some damage.
Got a few drivers in the pits now going for fresh rubber. You got Geesh, Turtle, FAF, Blind Man.
That halfway point where these guys will be thinking about getting some fresh rubber for the second half of the session. Now the Brocky 05 cars have both come in a lap prior. They've completed their out lap now. Onto Flyer, you saw them go deep into the last corner to get the perfect run onto the main straight. They go around the outside of the APR car, gets out of the way nicely. That's Ricky Bobby. We're on board with Diswood, facing his teammate Mountain Goat. Not close enough to pick up a slipstream, but also not close enough to be affected by dirty air. Pushing hard through the first sector. Let's see what the split is. And goes through personal best sector for Diswood. Not up by enough to unseat anyone in front of him, but it's an improvement. Maybe time to find in the middle sector. And the final sector, of course, the bus stop. Increase the bravery, increase the pace, the risk versus reward. Sure, Woody, you'll be sitting there thinking, I want that 29 even if I don't improve my position. 29. All it's going to take is 1,000, but not going to be enough unless he's lost time through the bus stop on his previous laps. Not what he wanted. Mountain Goat bails out of his lap too.
So everyone is on a fresh set of tyres for qualifying now, except for Speedy, Snoopy, we got Muffin and Snake Eyes. They're the only three that haven't opted to go for a fresh set during qualifying.
Muffin, P11, 31.075. Needs about 2.5 tenths to improve. It'll be hard to find without fresh tyres. Young Wakey completing his out lap. He's got time for one flying lap here. He's going to stake everything on this lap. Into turn one. It's fresh tyres. Perfect car underneath him, low fuel load. Push to his heart's content. He's got a massive gap to overcome to Geesh in front of him, but what might be more important is that minuscule gap to Mountain Goat behind, 0.003. May have to extend. Is at risk of dropping further down. Didn't look like a fantastic S's, but it also didn't look terrible. See what his split is as he comes out of the hairpin down here. Hard on the brakes in the downhill section. Put the inside. Run it to the outside. Baff clears Diswood. Pumps himself up to 4th. Geesh improves again. Can't look at that, Wakey. You've got to focus on your own lap. It's a good run through the bus stop. Turtle Power bumps himself up to 6th. Young Wakey into the last corner. A lot of these guys are finished. It's a good run through that corner. On the power, up the straight. Morgan Davey to P2. It's a huge lap from Morgan Davey. Captain Muffin with an improvement, and Wakey goes back to P2. He clears Morgan by half a tenth and is just shy of a tenth off Geesh out front. Mountain Goat does improve. Comes closer to Morgan Davey. So the top 4 within 2 tenths. It's very close up the top end. Here's Faf currently P5 ahead of Diswood. Diswood is finished, I believe. Yep, he is.
Oh, Faf just
Faf
got
into
claimed
the
by the wall of
fence.
chumps.
Turtle Power coming through as well. Speedy Snoopy coming to set a lap time for the final time. Looking to improve. Stake his claim on Division 1. It's going to be a 30. It's no improvement. Turtle Power for Dadson. Coming through for the final time. Can he improve? Bump himself up to 6th maybe. He can.
Yeah.
He's up to 5th. He clears Faf as well. It's a great lap for Turtle Power to get himself in the top 5. More drivers across the line. And no improvement for them. Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby to 6th. Blind man. As well. Ricky Bobby, what a lap from the APR vehicle. Blind man to 11th. Oh, wow. Everyone waited to the last second to set their best lap that time, didn't they?
Yeah, it all happened in the last 2 minutes. It was a scramble for the top spot. Morgan Davey did well to pick up 2nd, but Wakey hit straight back.
Morgan
Got that
Davies'
second
lap
spot back.
came almost out of nowhere. He was like a second off the top times earlier on. He must have heard me talking about how his qualifying was a weak part of his game and decided to prove me wrong for no reason other than his personal pride.
Well, whatever the reason, he's managed to start on the 2nd row for 3rd place for him in qualifying. That's a good spot to be.
He'll be happy with that. Yep. For someone who is used to starting in the lower half of the grid and still topping podiums and, you know, getting good results, he'll be happy to start P3 there, ahead of Mountain Goat as well, who he knows is a tough competitor. Here's your qualifying grid for race 1. Geesh with a 29.4, the only driver to drop under the 0.5 there. Young Wakey in 2nd. Morgan Davey P3, Mountain Goat P4. Now these guys, you can throw a blanket over them. They're so close together, but the difference in the race could be the wall of chumps, the danger of this circuit, how hard it is to keep the car pointing the right way all the way through. So, very tough all the way through. GK Turtle Power P5 there, showing not to have the pace of a turtle, in fact. Here in P5, a great lap, 29.786. There's Ricky Bobby by a fair bit as well, who was ahead of Faf and Diswood by a fair margin. Small margin, but enough to be P6. Speedy Snoopy dropped to P9 in the end, unfortunately for him. Not the best start to his Div 1 campaign, but good enough to be inside the top 10, which I'm sure he won't be too upset about. John rounds out the top 10, a 30.154. Blind Man P11 filling in for GDR. Captain Muffin P12. And Snake Eyes filling in for Noodles and P13. So, and not too far off the back there either. So he'll be happy to be that close. So Div 4 guys, there's your reference. There's your pace. The set, the benchmark for your race next weekend. Time to go back to the practice sessions and see if you can get close to that. Snake Eyes here already. So that is our qualifying grid for race 1, and I think we'll probably pretty much get started with the race here. What do you reckon?
I reckon that's what exactly we are doing now. We are waiting for the countdown to start, and then we'll get those big red lights that'll set us off down into the first sector.
20-minute race for our drivers here this evening. Division 1, the big guns. The race we all have been waiting for. They'll line up on the grid here at Dragon Trail Seaside. For 20 minutes of racing, 14 laps for these drivers. They will make the 14. The lights are up. And they're away here at Dragon Trail Seaside. Looked like a good start for one of those drivers in the mid-pack. The glare making it difficult to see, though. Geesh will have the inside into turn 1. Head through the right-hander. Very close here. And over the back from Jeesh. They all get through tidy by the look of things. Young Wakey takes advantage of some oversteer from Jeesh and snatches away P1 out of the first sequence of corners. And through he goes, leading the way. Now, that happened very, very quickly for Jeesh. Going to have his work cut out for him if he wants to get that back. There's a lot going on in the background as well. Faf P8 ahead of Speedy Snoopy and John. They're all very close together here. More going on up the front there. They're too wide into the hairpin. It looks like Morgan Davey back through to third after dropping a position. Jeesh down to fifth. Our championship leader is dropping like a stone. Manages to make it through the bus stop, but he is looking ragged here. Rocky 05 car of Diswood, not too far behind him here. To the straight we come. They're still very, very close together.
So we've had a incident at the back of the field. Snake Eyes. I didn't see what happened, but I believe he just etched his name onto the wall of chumps. He's got rear damage, front damage, left-hand side damage.
Start, and that's definitely handy research for him going into Div 4 next weekend, I would say. Of course, he won't be too worried about his result here tonight. He knows that he's here just to pick up a couple of team points to keep the title fight picking over for Respawn. Of course, Respawn leading the way in the team's championship at the moment, so it is important for them. But is what you got to do. But you never know what could happen. We've seen how many people get turned around at the wall of chumps. But he'll be keeping a sharp eye on the horizon. Morgan Davey currently third. Hit Ricky Bobby. Diswood, who's got the better of Jeesh.
Oh, Morgan Davey on the exit of the bus stop. He spun himself around.
Just seen him out of the rear view of Ricky Bobby, so he's been claimed by the wall of chumps, and that might be the incident that we're talking about for the likes of Snake Eyes to catch back up and get back involved. That's one position for Ricky Bobby, up to third. Diswood and Jeesh, that brings them a little bit closer to the top step of the podium as well. Looking back from Ricky Bobby, Diswood within a couple of tenths. He goes deep on the brakes and pushes Ricky Bobby wide at the corner and checks up. Jeesh gets held up by the pair of them on the apex. Not a lot that Jeesh could do there. Diswood trying to be the sportsman and let Ricky Bobby keep that position. And now Turtle Power.
Well, FAF with some troubles too.
Had an incident at the chicane.
It looks like he had an incident somewhere between turn 3 and turn 6.
He's now down. He's dropped. Oh, he's fighting with Morgan Davey a little bit. Side by side, coming into the S's. Davey up to 11th. And Davey's pace around here seems to be pretty prominent. Fortunately, that incident's really robbed him of a chance to go for a podium. He's going to have to dig deep, try and get that reset for race 2 sorted.
Wakey's put his foot down here. He's out to a 2-second lead at the moment over Mountain Goat. Yeah, and then from behind Diswood, we're starting to see a train of cars, all single file.
So Diswood leading the train. Look back from the Brocchio 5 sim racing car. Decent behind. That's a series champion from last season. Not someone you want in your rear view, but he's a pretty seasoned operator, so I'm sure he won't be thinking about that. We'll be treating him just like any other driver. Speedy Snoopy on debut up to P6 there, behind Turtle Power, and 5th for Dadson. All still in this battle. Over the crest for Diswood. Not letting Jeesh get close enough to launch an attack. 3/10 the gap. Laid on the brakes for Jeesh, pushing it to the limit. Not dissimilar to what we saw from Diswood before on, I think it was Morgan. Deep on the brakes on someone. Like that. Jeesh into the fence. And that's put him on the back foot, and that allows Turtle Power through. Can't deal with the wall of chumps. Speedy Snoopy up to 4th here on debut in Division 1. He drops back down to 5th, but he's right on the back of Turtle Power, and he has every opportunity to go for a move here. He sweeps to the right-hand side. That is the inside for turn 1, but the outside for turn 2. We look here through the right-hander. He'll get his nose ahead, but now on the brakes. Up the inside for Turtle Power, round the outside for Speedy Snoopy AU. Can't quite do it. Settles back in the 5th. Jeesh right on his rear bumper as well.
Oh, this would be looking in the mirrors right now. He's pulled about 2 seconds on Turtle, so he's got a bit of a buffer above this little battle pack that's formed behind him.
Pretty stoked right now. Checking in with our leader, Young Wakey. Pushing the boundaries this race. 2.2 seconds to the good now. Opening up that gap consistently every lap. Mountain Goat seemingly unable to make any inroads. Just a testament to how well Young Wakey is performing, that Mountain Goat doesn't have an answer for him. This would P3. It's a great performance so far for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing. Through the chicane. Turtle Power sideways on the way out. That'll drop him down. Speedy Snoopy inherits 4th place. And Jeesh to the inside. Thinks about it. Drops back out.
Yeah, John just picked up some damage with a bit of sideways action coming out of the bus stop. So it's another name etched on the wall of chumps tonight.
Captain Muffin up to 9th there on the back of John. He'll go through because that damage will be slowing John's car down a little bit. A solid recovery so far for Muffin after a poor qualifying. He was the slowest Div 1 competitor on the qualifying sheets. Qualifying ahead only of Snake Eyes. He's up to 8th now, which is a great fight back so far. And Blind Man just up the road. Extra points calling your name, Muffin. Come on board with our defending champion of the series from last year. No longer trailing Diswood, but trailing Speedy Snoopy. The debutant in Division 1. Ish can do against the new fresh blood. The chicane, see if Jeesh has as much trouble as he's been having through here. Seems to be struggling with the dirty air through there quite a lot. Not able to get the car to turn in. All the while, the youth of Sector 1 are pulling away. Diswood, 6.6 behind Mountain Goat. And Young Wakey, emphasis on Young. The youngest driver on the Sector 1 roster, leading the way in the top flight of the championship. He continues his stellar run of form after winning last time out at Red Bull Ring as well. Mountain Goat trying to find an answer. Another young gun in the series.
You know, every time Mountain Goat makes up a 10th or 2, Wakey just puts it straight back on him. So they're having a good mental battle here over their times.
And they're helping each other out too, because that gap to Woody is increasing all the time. It's now nearly 7 seconds. So Yeah, the young guns of the series showing the seniors how it's done. Look at this now.
Also got a
To the outside.
four-way battle.
Blind man. Yeah, we're on board with this now. John goes through. Muffin goes through to 8th. Ricky Bobby's right there too. He's going to go by on the way into the chicane. Blind man lifts. Lets him through. That was sensible from the Hooncorp driver. But still not enough. It was. Straight into the wall of chumps. And has to spin it around to get out.
Yeah, Geese just a moment ago had a moment through the wall of chumps as well. He's now down to 6th. He's got a little bit of front end damage on that car.
Mitch is really struggling this round. It is not a round that has suited him at all. Every lap it seems there's an error of some kind. He's the sort of guy that we don't expect that at all. You know, he's got blistering pace and we never see him make mistakes. But today it's been one a lap. So definitely a race to forget for G. She'll have to reset for race 2 and hope that he can improve.
I think this race has just proved he is human for those people that were asking.
Indeed it has. Indeed it has. And there's a new king of Division 1 right now anyway. Young Wakey, who's pulled a second on Mountain Goat in the last lap, is cementing his name in the Sector 1 history books. He's making that chicane look easy. Flying through every time. No stress whatsoever. Mountain Goat not able to match it.
We've also got Woody being reeled in very slowly by Speedy Snoopy. Snoopy does have better tyres on his car.
Snoopy with the best tyres. Oh, sideways there for just Wood as well. On the exit of the last corner, it's going to bring him within range for Speedy Snoopy. Head down the main straight. So while we're waiting for this to unfold, let's have our APR Automotive tyre and fuel update. Black Friday. Talk us through. Who's doing what in terms of tyres and fuel?
Well, it come no surprise that everyone is doing the medium no-stop strategy tonight. You have people towards the back like Blind Man and Snake Eyes, Ricky Bobby that are holding a bit more fuel than some of the others. Most drivers on are roughly about half a tank of fuel at the moment, and Woody would be the worst one on tyres. Other than that, everyone else is doing pretty well.
Not too much of a surprise to hear Woody not doing too well on the tyres, being on a controller. It does handicap you a little bit, that sort of equipment. A little bit of a disadvantage for the Brocky 05 sim racing car, but he's still keeping on trucking. Managed to pull a bit of a gap to Speedy Snoopy over the course of this lap.
Yeah, look, we've got just over 6 minutes to go. I think he'll be right for his tyre life. He's just got to try and focus ahead, and if Speedy Snoopy gets close enough, make that NSX really wide.
That's it, yeah, hold on to P3 for this race and look to improve in the second. We've got Speedy Snoopy on debut. Fantastic drive so far, and a podium's on for him here. Conversely, someone who's dropped a lot after a decent qualifying is Ricky Bobby, who finds himself outside top 8, fighting now with Captain Muffin. Still going. There's a yellow flag for
We
the
just
Dadson
had Turtle
car.
spin
Turtle,
around.
and that will have promoted Geesh to 5th. So now, finally, this might be the first part of the race where Geesh has had clean air. Let's see what he can do with that. 4.2 the gap to Speedy Snoopy. See if he can reel him in. He was the fastest qualifier in the session for a reason. You would expect Geesh to probably have the most pace on track. See what he can do with this car now that he's been released in the dirty air.
Well, at the moment, Wakey is the one with the fastest lap, but there were half the field did 29s and no one's gotten into that territory yet.
Well, I'm not entirely surprised they're not in the 29s, because don't forget that those times were set on soft tyres, and they're all now on mediums.
Yes.
So they are disadvantaged in that way. I'm looking now at Speedy Snoopy on Diswood. Also keeping one eye on that gap to Jeesh, because both go deep there. It is coming down a little bit. That clean air proving effective for Jeesh. Pulls 4/10 at that first sequence of corners.
Just had the wall of chumps claim blind man.
Now, I can see that on the map actually. But he's dropped down now behind Snake Eyes. Fill-in drivers bringing up the rear of the field, as you would generally expect, but the blind man was doing well, and he got a 4th last time out as well. He filled in as well at Red Bull Ring. P4 in the end in that race, so he's clearly got excellent pace. But not able to execute tonight, unfortunately.
We've got a nice little 4-way battle opening up for our sixth position. So we got Turtle, Ricky Bobby, John and Muffin, all within about half a second of each other.
Well, we're going to keep on with the battle for 3rd place. Speedy Snoopy to the outside of Diswood. Round the outside of the final corner. Looks like he's going to go for the up and under on the exit here to get the run on Diswood. A little bit of an error on the way out. Picked the wrong way to go, but he's got the run still. He's going to be on the right-hand side on the way down the straight. Will he look to the inside into the first sequence of corners? He will. Late on the brakes for Speedy Snoopy, but Woody holds on to it round the outside. The Red Mist driver trying everything here. Woody, as you said, Black Friday, making that car as wide as possible and preventing Speedy Snoopy from any way through. And of course, Woody as well, an ex-Red Mist driver as well. So how that goes for him mentally, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what effect that has on his decision making here. But just bear that in mind. Speedy Snoopy, the fresh blood of Division 1. For Red Mist, trailing closely behind Diswood.
And these two battling has opened up the door for Jeesh to make his way in the background, lurking there, waiting for one of them to make a mistake.
Yeah, as we discussed before, as soon as Jeesh was in that clean air, no problems. He's cruised right up to the back of these guys, and it looks like someone's in the fence. And it was Speedy Snoopy, and Jeesh will sweep around the outside there. No problems whatsoever. And now he can chase the podium. It may not all be said and done for the Division 1 champion. Onto the main straight, end of lap 12. 2 laps to go. Maybe just the one. There's been so many crashes, I think this might be the final lap.
Yeah, I think Wakey and Goat will get an extra lap possibly, but yeah, Diswood and below, this will be their last lap.
So Jeesh has only got so much time to catch up to the Brocky 05 sim racing car. There's more. Ricky Bobby right behind Turtle Power. Still on. Morgan Davey in P8 as well. Bit of a recovery for him after dropping back early. Having a look now at Jeesh on Diswood. See if he can get close. See if he can apply the pressure. Because if he does, can he force an error from Diswood at the bus stop? Had to run through the hairpin there. But I'm sure Diswood knows that Jeesh is far too far back to launch a move even at the final corner unless he gets the mother of all runs out of the chicane. Bit sideways from Jeesh, but he's got a better run. He's going to be close. About half a second will be the gap if he gets the perfect run. He might beat Woody to the line. 6 seconds on the clock. Our top two have crossed the line. Jeesh gets the exit, gets a bit sideways, can't quite do it. And it will be Woody in P3, takes the podium in race 1. Diction P4 and Speedy Snoopy P5 on debut. Turtle Power will be P6 ahead of Ricky Bobby. He holds on. And Morgan Davey P8 here in the first race of the evening. John P9. Not a result that he'll be happy with, I'm sure, but it's a start. Bath P10. Croatia Esports rounds out the top 10 there. Muffin, who dropped down a little bit, back to P11. And it looks like Snake Eyes for P12. Ahead of Blind Man, the second of the fill-ins. Take 13th place team points. Keep their championship alive. Through the bus stop for the final time. 2.5 seconds clear of Mountain Goat. Young Wakey is going to cruise to the flag. Really letting Mountain Goat cruise right up to the back of him here too. There's a win for Young Wakey. That's 2 wins in a row. The first sprint race of the evening goes to the Young Kraken Esports driver ahead of Mountain Goat.
Just want to give us Snake Eyes a shout out there. He finished with the best tyres on the grid by far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not that. He's beaten them in something, that's for sure. It's good to hear.
So best tyres on the grid at the finish and coming in the coveted not last position. I think he'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty happy too. So he's not only finished in not last position, he's taken on a Division 2 driver there in the form of Blind Man. Take that spot. So, our results for race 1. Young Wakey, P1 with a fastest lap of a 30.294. So bear that in mind going into race 2. That's important. If that time is beaten by anyone else, then they will take the points for the fastest lap. Mountain Goat P2 and Diswood rounds out the podium ahead of Geesh, who was right on his backside all the way to the line. Speedy Snoopy on debut, P5, a good start to his campaign. In P5 holds on to that position that he came into the championship with this round. Turtle Power P6, a solid result from him. Ricky Bobby P7 and Morgan Davey P8 will be disappointed after qualifying so high up in the early stages. John in P9, Faf P10 rounds out that first section of drivers. Muffin P11 and then Snake Eyes ahead of Blind Man for the 10 points there for the fill-in drivers. So, I don't know who your driver of the day is for that particular race. I think Speedy Snoopy is definitely an option.
Yeah,
for
well,
our
he
guys.
did very good. He showed that he can hang with Div 1, and the unfortunate incident towards the end cost him a potential podium.
Yeah, he was, and that was what it was, wasn't it? This race was who can keep themselves the cleanest. And it looks like Young Wakey. I hate to blow my own horn, but I did call that before the start of the race. He's the sort of driver that doesn't make mistakes, it seems, and here clearly on display, all these other drivers making errors at the wall of chumps. Young Wakey, not so for him. Anyway,
Yeah, no, he's a very, very good driver. Head down, keeps his focus. He's a very good follower as well.
yes, indeed. We'll go to a quick intermission while we set up race number 2. And then we will come back to you with more action from Division 1, the full feature points race here at Dragon Trail Seaside. 20 minutes of action. Once again, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Sector 1 Sim Racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. We are about to go live with our final race of the evening. It is Division 1, the sprint round at Dragon Trail Seaside here in Croatia. We've run our first race to set the grid for the second. Young Wakey took an emphatic win, and he's going to do his best, I'm sure, to replicate that in race number 2. Jeesh will be looking to make a comeback here as well. About to get that race underway here. So, not long now till our lights go out. Begin our countdown, send the drivers to the grid. No messing about for this one here, as we are so far behind schedule. Get this race underway for your action on your Sunday night here at Dragon Trail Seaside in Croatia. Division 1, ready to go. Cars are lined up and staged on the grid here. We've actually got the wrong grid order though, so we're probably going to have to red flag this one. We will come back to you guys in just a moment. I'm not sure what's going on.
It's the right
the grid order was
on
correct.
my screen.
Never mind. I've just got faff at the top of the timing tower for some reason, so I'm sure that will sort itself out very shortly. There we go. It's all sorted. Race underway. Apologies for not calling the run to turn 1 properly, but we had an error there, and it looks like someone might be around in the background. They are.
Morgan Davies gone around.
Morgan Davey gone again. Snake Eyes promoted to 11th, and he's sideways over the curb. That's a huge loose, and backs into the fence, but he's managed to avoid taking any other cars with him, which is a great result out of that. Unfortunately, it drops him all the way to the back. Up we move. Turtle Power pushing the bumper of Jeesh in front of him, and he goes sideways over the curb. It's action left, right, and centre. He manages to get it pointing the right way again quickly, but he's well compromised against Morgan Davey on the way down to this corner, and he's off the back of the group now as well. Jeesh seems to be struggling once again. He's dropped behind Speedy Snoopy. They head through the chicane for the first time this race, and a loose there again. John's up to P6 now, and being attacked rather by Ricky Bobby down the inside into the final corner. Ricky Bobby will take it. That was aggressive, but it was good. Goes through to 6th place. John's going to fight it back here for the right-hand side for the right-hander, but into the left. He's going to find himself on the outside. He's going to have to sweep around the outside to get this, and he's done it. It's a brilliant move from John 27 TCT for Lightning Motorsport. He's still side by side with the APR car though, and he drops behind. A great fight back from Ricky Bobby there to keep that position. John unable to do anything to get by.
Now they've both got Captain Muffin and Blind Man directly behind him.
These guys are fighting tooth and nail. Jeesh off the back of the front pack here, trying to stay in touch. Got 4 drivers in front of him. Young Wakey still leading the way. Diswood ahead of his teammate. Got the jump on the kid at some point in the early stages. Beady Snoopy still in the fight as well. See what happens through the Chicane of Death. It's a bad run for Goat. Goat's into the wall. Jeesh takes advantage, and they switch positions
picked up
again.
damage. So Speedy Snoopy just got clipped by Mountain Goat as he hit the wall, so he's got some front left damage too now. So I reckon
That's going
Jeesh
to
will
affect
get him.
Speedy Snooky down the straight. Drops his top speed. Jeesh will probably go through here using that. Through he goes. And now only Diswood and Young Wakey in the way of Jeesh or his fight for the lead. Now, this is the Jeesh that we're used to seeing. Cool, calm and collected, and a class above the competition. Now goes in pursuit of the leaders, with Speedy Snoopy and Ricky Bobby in hot pursuit. The second pack of cars here as well. fighting it out for 7th at the moment. There's a 6th place on the cards there too in the form of John. Up and up to 7th though. It's a great start for him. The kid in P9 not looking too sharp at the moment. He'll be looking to fight back through the Dadson car there. Down the inside of Blind Man. Gets the move done. The chicane, and we've got a loose car there in the form of Faf, and it looks like Speedy Snoopy's gone around as well.
Now he hasn't picked up any damage, but that's still a spin, and that's a loss of a lot of spots. That's right back to last place now.
Drop behind Snake Eyes, only just though. Or Speedy Snoopy. Can't catch a break. That's hard in this race. Have a look at a replay now. On board. Just caught the exit. Unsure what happened there. He didn't collect the wall though, which is interesting.
Just while you've been on the replay there, we've had Diswood go around. He's now back to 9th.
9th place for Diswood.
Even further now, he's gone around again.
Oh, wow. He's struggling to get going and he's lighting up the rear tyres. Not what you want to do. Oh, and there's someone else too. Mountain Goat. Same deal. Did the teammates come together? Mountain Goat's gone around himself. Geesh now in 2nd place. Don't know how it's happened. That curbing can be dangerous though. Promotes Snake Eyes to 11th.
So we've got Captain Muffin, Ricky Bobby and John all fighting for 3rd spot at the moment.
Have a look at the replay as Mountain Goat goes into the wall there. And it was just a little bit loose on the exit there for Goat. And he just lost control of the car, unfortunately. Went around, not what he wanted. He's now down to 13th. Geesh in pursuit of the leader. 2.5 seconds the gap. Blind Man up to 6th, ahead of Turtle Power. It's going well for the Hooncorp driver. On fill-in duty.
We've got John and Ricky Bobby fighting for 3rd at the moment.
Go John to the inside into the S's. That's a brave move. Not something you expect to see very often, but Ricky Bobby sweeps around the outside. Ricky Bobby currently in the podium places. He'll be happy with that. Look back from the APR Automotive car. John locked in battle with Captain Muffin as well, who's managed to get himself up to 5th. It was a fantastic run so far for Muffin, considering his results in the first race and in qualifying. John bounces off the wall. Muffin.
We've got FAF making a move on Turtle at the moment.
There it is, around the outside into the final corner. Turtle down the inside, taking it back. Not interested in ceding the position. Here you go. Turtle Power still on him. Jump on board to the outside. The ISA car on the inside. Turtle Power can't quite do it. He has to cede the position. Blind Man just up the road there. Remember, that's a Div 2 fill-in. You guys need to think about the bigger picture here. They'll fight amongst one another till the cows come home. These guys are born racers. And if anyone's a born racer, it's this man, Morgan Davey. Everyone knows. Everyone in Sector 1 knows. See this man in your rear view mirror. Expect to be challenged. He will not hold back from going for a move if the opportunity presents itself. 2/10 back is not too far for this man to launch something. And he's good at sticking it too.
He's also good at making the moves happen out of nowhere where you least expect them.
That's right. This is a man who knows that every corner is an overtaking opportunity. There's no such thing as an impossible place to overtake. FAF spins and goes around.
And we got Muffin ahead with some damage.
Claims another and maybe a collision with Captain Muffin. Yeah, like you say. Edie Snoopy up to 9th. There we go. This might be it for Morgan Davey on Turtle Power. The first sequence of corners. You can tell he's thinking about it. He knows he's close to the inside. No. Defense from Turtle Power. Around the outside for Morgan. He's going to find himself on the inside for the second half of the corner. A yellow flag popped up there as a car was spinning on the exit. Turtle Power gets the run. No penalties awarded for either of these drivers by the looks. Morgan down the inside again. At the right-hander hairpin. And down towards the S's they go. We've seen Ricky Bobby from this position sweep round the outside before. And Morgan Davey does the same. And that's what we were talking about. Every corner is an overtaking opportunity to this man. He knows it.
Really lucky there with the yellow flag popping up. I was a victim of round 1 being overtaking someone during a yellow flag that I thought had cleared, but it is a 3-second penalty, so really lucky to get away without it there.
A race-changing mistake to be. But who was the yellow flag for? I didn't actually see it. It might have been for Faf, maybe?
Yeah, I didn't see exactly who it was for.
It looked like there was a car parked off to the left of the circuit. We couldn't see it. We were so focused on the action. Checking with the leaders. Jeesh is now 2 seconds flat behind young Wakey. Gap is closing. Jeesh is pulling time. Here and there. Pumping that gap out of the young driver in front. What I'm concerned about here for Jeesh's attack is he might be slightly faster, but he's not fast enough to overtake with the disadvantage of dirty air. Once he gets close enough, that dirty air is going to start pushing him back. That might be the gap in pace that breaks the camel's back, so to speak.
It's the same as race 1. Whoever's behind Wakey's gained a couple of tenths, and then Wakey's just put that straight back on.
A great psychological tactic, psychological warfare for these guys. See what Jeesh does through the bus stop. A little bit sideways. That's going to drop him time. Wakey holds on to it for now. About 5 laps, 6 laps to go. One man in 4th, just by the way. The fill-in driver again in the top 5 after finishing 4th at Red Bull Ring last week. Last round, rather. He's on to do it again.
So I've got a bit of information here about a couple of drivers in the field that are doing very well. They may have to pit. There may be a tyre change coming up for them.
Oh, let's hear more about this.
So, we've got Ricky Bobby in 3rd and Blindman in 4th. Now, they are the only 2 cars on the track at the moment carrying the racing softs as their tyres.
Ricky Bobby and who? Blindman?
Yes.
Wow. So they have to pit. So that's going to change everything. Morgan Davey will be promoted to 3rd. And Turtle Power to 4th. And those 2 will drop way down. That's insane. But what's crazy about that is that Jeesh and Wakey are still ahead of them.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure what the pit loss is here, but they could be coming out around even lower than 10th. We'll just have to wait and see what they do this lap and next lap, because I reckon it's going to be one of these 2 laps that they're going to come in.
Speaking of 10th, John in 10th at the moment. It's been reported down in the paddock that that was the car, the Lightning Motorsport car, that was off to the side of the circuit Pause the yellow
Pause the
flag.
yellow
earlier.
flag.
As John put it up there, and there, end of lap 8. Ricky Bobby is in. Blind man goes around again. Bobby pits off the soft tyre. Put on
See
the
where
mediums.
he comes out.
There it is. P9. Looks like P10 might get him. John's not quite going to be there. Or he is. Sweeps around the outside on the way to turn 1. Down to 10th. Good prediction from you, Friday.
Yeah, look, he's got the switchback on him.
Oh, they've both gone around. It was a loose from John, and he became a passenger and drove straight into the side of Ricky Bobby next to him.
And I was just about to say too, having a fresh set of mediums against a worn set of mediums, he might get him back over the next half a lap, but unfortunately got a bit tangled up there.
And it looks like he's redressing it as well. A beautiful sportsmanship from our drivers. It wasn't clear to us who was at fault or what happened there exactly. It looked like John might have just got loose on the curb and driven into Ricky Bobby. But clearly Ricky Bobby wanting to, you know, wave him by. Give him the old, sorry mate, go ahead.
Now we've got 5 minutes of the race left. Jeesh is within a second of Wakey now.
There we go. That gap's come down. What we were talking about. And now that the gap is so close, will the turbulent air throw Jeesh through the ringer once again?
And we've had both Morgan Davey and Speedy Snoopy get the jump on Blind Man, who is now carrying dead rear left tyre.
Now the question that is on my lips here is, does Blind Man know that he is required to put the mediums in? Because I feel like going this far on the softs is a bit of a mistake. Would have been better probably to come in for mediums about when Ricky Bobby did.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't pit this lap, he's going to have 3 dead tyres.
Interesting strategy call from Blind Man. Where he goes with that. Jeesh through the bus stop. Solid run this time. Not as fast as Young Wakey. Young Wakey seems to be the bravest driver through the bus stop in the entire field. So much commitment and so little fear through that sequence of corners. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. He's still within range. Let's try to pull him in. Could be a win for Jeesh on the cards here. Plays his cards right. Speedy Snoopy within 1.5 seconds of Morgan Davey. Would still challenge for a podium.
Blind Man is continuing on. He has a dead left-hand rear tyre. There's the slightest slither on his rear right tyre and front left tyre. And then he's got about, maybe about 20% left on his front right. So he's not having a good time out there.
That push through the first corner as well. He's well deep on the brakes. See what it does to him up here. Got to turn and brake through here. There he goes, wide onto the gravel for Blind Man. He'll rejoin the track. Very, very good rejoin here.
And then we've just had Ricky Bobby change from the back to the softs. So he came in and he was one that
for
changed.
The fastest lap then, surely.
Yeah.
Throw it all to the side and commit to the fastest lap.
I mean, being Blind Man, what's a better way to test your tyre life and any other thing than in race
that's
conditions?
Right. He's got Div 2 next week, and that's this is going to be valuable data for him. He's going to find out exactly how far he can push his tyres. So, Blind Man down to 11th, behind Snake Eyes, ahead of John and Ricky Bobby. That guy's P10. Div 4 driver, P10 in the top flight here. A great result for his team. He'll be very, very happy with that. Taking advantage of mistakes from others. And I just wonder what would have been for him if it wasn't for that incident on the first lap. I think he might be still ahead of Diswood and Mountain Goat at this stage at least. A bit of time to go.
Just having a look up the field, we've still got the 1 second between Wakey and Jeesh. We've got about 1 second between Morgan and Speedy Snoopy. And then you've got Diswood on the back of Mountain Goat. So a couple of battles heating up in the last minute of this race.
Two teammates here thinking about it. I think if Diswood knows what's good for him, he'll probably just give Mountain Goat a little hurry up and let him take the most. Oh no, sorry.
Jeesh has got Wakey.
We've missed the overtake. It must have been at the wall of chumps. Jeesh goes through into the lead onto the final lap here in Division 1.
Yeah, it must have been Wakey's got front damage there, so he must have etched his name on there for the first time tonight.
Oh, the one man, or the one boy, we didn't expect to make a mistake. Jeesh has made a mistake on the exit of 1 though, and that's allowed Wakey to close right up again. Morgan Davey crosses the line for P3. We're going to jump on board here with young Wakey. It's not over yet. Jeesh had over a second into that first corner, and he's already made a mistake, allowing Wakey to close right up. It's the battle of the fewest mistakes here at Seaside. And this is the first lap now where Wakey has driven around with dirty air. The turbulent air coming off the back of Jeesh's car, pushing him out 6/10. All that Wakey can hope for now is to apply the pressure to the Division 1 champion of yesteryear and force an error through the bus stop. 6/10 the gap. He's closing a little bit. Jeesh will have his eyes on that for sure. Through the bus stop we go. Is there a scrape of the wall? They're both through cleanly. Jeesh a little bit slow. Wakey's got to run. Down to the final corner they will go. Wakey's going to get the mother of all sins on him into this corner. He's late on the brakes. Jeesh on the outside. Wakey on the inside. Through goes young Wakey. Onto the final straight. They're both sideways out of the last corner. And Wakey into the lead. And will take the win in the final sprint race for Division 1 here. What a final lap from the two main drivers in the championship here. The competitors going for the Division 1 title. Absolutely putting it all on the line. No quarter given there from young Wakey. Unbelievable. I think I might have just woke up the entire house getting excited about that last corner.
And
That
just quietly
was-
as well, Ricky Bobby ended up coming out with the fastest lap at the race, so that late switch to the softs paid off.
It was the right decision. Here are your results. Young Wakey, first place with a fantastic drive, led the entire race, but for a mistake with a lap to go, handing the lead to Jeesh. Jeesh, who led that lap until the exit of the bus stop, where a small mistake cost him a run down to the final corner, and Wakey sent one up the inside to go for the lead into the final straight, managed to make it stick. Jeesh tried to defend, but couldn't quite close the door enough. Morgan Davey, P3, with, we didn't really see him cross the line, but it was a solid race from Morgan Davey. And like we say, you know, he's, his qualifying's generally a weak part of his game, but he qualified well today and then had a poor incident in the first race. And then again, managed to come back and get a great result in the second race. Speedy Snoopy on debut, 4th place there. He'll be happy with that, I think. 2 solid results for him in Division 1 on his first time out. Captain Muffin also probably really happy with that result as well, given what his first race result was tonight. Baffin P6, Turtle Power P7, Mountain Goat P8. That'll be disappointment for the Brocchio 5 team with Diswood and P9 as well. Snake Eyes will hold his head high, I'm sure. P10 in the end for the Division 4 driver who has made the move to Division 1 as a fill-in this time around. John in P11, Ricky Bobby P12 with that fastest lap that we talked about as well, which supersedes the fastest lap from race 1 and will score him that extra point. And Blind Man, who ran the entire race on the softs by the look of things and didn't actually end up putting on the mediums with a 1 minute penalty there in the end, finishes in 13th for Hooncorp. But wow, that had us on the edge of our seats for that last lap. Let us know what you think of that battle for the lead. The championship battle could not be any hotter. Wakey takes the lead of the championship with that result ahead of Jeesh, who drops behind just slightly. And Wakey putting his name in the mix for the championship this season. Jeesh has got his hands full by the look of things. Black Friday, what do you think for driver of the day?
Well, I know you don't like giving it to the winner. Wakey did an amazing job this round, so just an honourable mention to him. But I'd have to say, my two choices, I'd Speedy Snoopy made a great debut tonight. It is a little bit biased being a Red Mist driver, voting for another Red Mist driver, but he held his own with a 4th and a 5th in both the races. Morgan Davey did well race 2 to get that podium. So they'd be my two picks. It'd either be Speedy Snoopy or Morgan Davey.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on Speedy Snoopy there. For a debut race to come in here and a 5th and a 4th, great result. And yeah, Morgan Davey, a solid result for him as well, although it's not something that comes as a huge surprise. We know the capabilities of that man. We've seen it before from him. And like you say, young Wakey with such a fantastic drive through race 1 and race 2. And to take the win in both is a fantastic result from him. But my vote for driver of the day, definitely Speedy Snoopy. And I get the feeling that a lot of the chat is going to agree with us. So, oh, and Captain Muffin should also be mentioned there as well. He went up 7 positions in that race. So
yeah, he had a horrible race 1.
Horrible race 1 and a horrible qualifying. So somehow pulled a result out there. Oh, and I can't forget as well. Now this is a biased one for me too. Snake Eyes, P10, ahead of 2 Division 1 drivers and a Division 2 driver. As a Division 4 driver, that's a fantastic result. And, you know, you can see the gap in quality as well. He's going to out him a little bit here and point you in the direction of his fastest lap there. His best lap was a 32.4, and he was, I believe, the only driver not to crack into the 31s for a fastest lap. But the fact that he was consistent enough and made so few mistakes granted him 3 positions over the competition. So, you know, I think that's a really good result from him, and it just goes to show that consistency is key. So, another one of those really good results.
Amazing job tonight. Race 1 had better tyres than everyone else at the finish. Race 2 to come top 10, beating a couple of Div 1 drivers and the Div 2 driver. And I'll point out, I don't think he put his name on the wall of chumps tonight by what I saw.
I think he might have in the first race, but I could be wrong. But yeah, he did have that incident at the top of the circuit, but we didn't see him paint his name on the wall of chumps, that's for sure. So I guess we can call that. But yeah, he's done well. So that does round out our Division 1 sprint round, and an action-packed round it was. I'm looking forward to kicking back and watching Division 2 and Division 4 next week, so make sure you come back around for that and enjoy that. Once again, it's going to be a great night of racing, I'm sure, as it was tonight. So that is it from us. We will be heading out for, I think there'll be some revels for the Kraken Esport team down in the paddock, so we'll probably go catch up on those. But definitely join us in the Discord if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and you want to see more of this action that we've got going on for you here in the Sector 1 Sim Racing Championship. Leave a like on the broadcast if you have enjoyed what you're watching. It really helps us out, gets us up in the algorithm so that we can get out to more sim racing fans who want to get involved in this action. But that is it from us. We'll see you again next time around for Group B here at Dragon Trail Seaside.